This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning. COVID cases nearly doubled in March. What's behind the increase? A U.S. journal warns of China's plan for influence in this country and in the region. And the latest in politics. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's here. It's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Tuesday, April 6th, 2021. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Don Sargent will be joining us. Also this morning, the folks from Samsung have a big announcement. They're going to be telling us all about that this morning. And later in Morning Blend Business, we are talking about the performance of the BISX, what's been happening since the start of the year, and should investors be concerned? We're going to be getting into all of that this morning. But first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while we're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, COVID cases nearly doubled in March, with 613 cases reported, according to data from the Ministry of Health. According to the COVID dashboards, 336 cases were reported in January and 335 cases reported in February. The data shows that 1,376 new COVID cases were reported so far in 2021. New Providence saw the most recorded cases so far this year, with 758. Followed by Grand Bahama with 348, Abaco with 114, and Eleuthera with 45. For April, 92 cases have been reported so far, 28 on April 1st, 35 on April 2nd, 16 on April 3rd, and 13 on April 4th. As of April 4th, 9,263 cases of COVID-19 were reported in the country. Between April 1st and April 4th, 51 new cases were reported in New Providence alone, 25 in Grand Bahama, 8 on Eleuthera, 3 on Bimini and Cat Key, 3 on Andros, 1 on Abaco, and 1 location pending. 36 cases were hospitalized as of April 4th, with 3 cases in the intensive care unit. 15 of those hospitalizations were on Grand Bahama. There are 289 active cases and 8,729 cases listed as recovered. The Ministry of Health also reporting that a 74-year-old Bimini man has died. He died on March 30th. The family of the man, identified as Louis Edward Roll, telling the Tribune last week that he could not be airlifted off Bimini because of his weight. His death drove the total number of COVID-19 deaths in the country to 189. Meanwhile, the administration of the COVID-19 vaccine will resume on Wednesday, tomorrow, here in New Providence and in Grand Bahama. In other news, while noting that China continues to undermine U.S. influence globally, a 4-star U.S. general recently warned that China is also attempting to use influence in the Bahamas by offering large-scale economic investments and material support for infrastructure projects. General Glenn Van Herk, who serves as U.S. Air Force Commander for the U.S. Northern Command and North American Aerospace Defense Command, making the comment while testifying before the U.S. Senate Armed Services Committee last month. He told the committee that they, quote, are absolutely in the NORTHCOM area of responsibility, attempting to influence the Bahamas, working through 5G, for example. The same thing in Mexico. We continue to defend all domains. Van Herk says China continues to pursue an aggressive geopolitical strategy that seeks to undermine U.S. influence around the globe and shape the international environment to its advantage. And with increasing signs that an early election may be called, PLP leader Philip Davis urging Bahamians not to be swayed by Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis and the new promises he's making as he seeks re-election. He declared that the Bahamas cannot afford another 5 years of the F&M. Overseas, Russian President Vladimir Putin signing a law allowing him to potentially hold power until 2036, a move that formalizes constitutional changes endorsed in a vote last year. The July 1st constitutional voting included a provision that reset Putin's previous term limits, allowing him to run for president 2 more times. The change was rubber-stamped by the Kremlin-controlled legislature, and the relevant law signed by Putin was posted Monday on an official portal of legal information. The 68-year-old Russian president, who has been in power for more than 2 decades, longer than any other Kremlin leader since Soviet dictator Joseph Stalin, says that he would decide later whether to run again in 2024 when his current 6-year term ends. He's argued that resetting the term count was necessary to keep his lieutenants focused on their work instead of darting their eyes in search of possible successors. The constitutional amendments also emphasized the primacy of Russian law over international norms, outlawed same-sex marriages, and mentioned a belief in God as a core value. Nearly 78% of voters approved the constitutional amendments during the balloting that lasted for a week and concluded on July 1st. Turnout was 68%. In sports, it was a windy Saturday, but that didn't stop Kendrick Thompson from putting his name in the national record books for the country, taking down the open men's decathlon record of 7,517 points, done by the previous record holder Ken Mullings at the Pan American Games in August 2019. In fact, both Thompson and Mullings surpassed the old record in a thrilling multi-events competition during the B3A's Easter Classic 2021 at the Thomas A. Robinson National Stadium over the weekend. Thompson, who participated for the University of the Bahamas Mingos, went into the second day of competition with 4,015 points, while Mullings had 3,952 points. Mullings came close to Thompson on the final day, but fell 2 points shy, 7,644 to 7,642. Former UB athlete Mullings, who now runs for Power Athletics, made quite a charge in the final day of competition, but fell short. The rivals pushed each other to fantastic performances in each event, particularly on the final day of competition. You can read about how they did and about how others did in the Easter Classic in today's Guardian Sports section. And Bahamian professional baseball player with the Miami Marlins, Jazzrado Jazz Chisholm, appears to already be seeing the ball much better early this season than he did in his breakthrough season in the majors in 2020, and his speed is a factor. Technically still a rookie and rocking blue hair from the Marlins opening series of 2021. The 23-year-old infielder has connected for 2 hits in his first 10 at-bats of the new Major League Baseball season. Finishing off a weekend series with the Tampa Bay Rays, Chisholm was 2 for 10 with 2 runs scored and 2 stolen bases. So far this season, he has a .333 on base percentage. You can read more about him in today's Guardian Sports section. Overseas, from the NCAA Basketball Championship, there was another team out there that was marching through the season undefeated, that looked unstoppable at times, that had all arrows point towards a national title. COVID-19 put a halt to that undefeated team, but nothing could stop Baylor from cutting down the nets, not even Gonzaga. The fresh-as-can-be Bears obliterated wobbly-legged Gonzaga's march to its own undefeated season Monday night. It was an 86-70 runaway that brought this once downtrodden program's first national title back home to Waco, Texas. Jared Butler scored 22 points. And Maseo Teague had 19 for the Bears, who were ranked second or third in the AP poll all year long, but never first. That was because of one team, and maybe because of a 3-week break that put a halt to a 17-0 start and sapped some of Baylor's burgeoning momentum. And North Korea says it will not take place. They take part in the Tokyo Olympics because of the coronavirus and because of fears, a decision that underscores the challenges facing Japan as it struggles to stage a global sporting event amid a raging pandemic. North Korea becoming the first country to drop out. A website run by North Korea's sports ministry said its National Olympic Committee during a meeting on March 25th decided not to participate in the games to protect athletes from the world public health crisis caused by COVID-19. The pandemic has already pushed back the Tokyo Games, which were originally scheduled for 2020, and organizers have scrambled to put in place preventive measures such as banning international spectators to ensure the safety of athletes and residents. However, there's still concern the Olympics could worsen the spread of the virus, and Japan's rising caseload and slow vaccine rollout have raised public questions about whether the Games should be held at all. Japan's Olympic Committee said Tuesday that North Korea has not yet notified it that it wouldn't participate in the Tokyo Games. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. In your weather for today, we've got high pressure ridge just north of the islands that will continue to produce mostly dry and stable conditions across the country today. Beachgoers in the central and southeast Bahamas should exercise caution due to the high risk of rip currents at north and east coast beaches. For all areas today, look for partly to mostly sunny and warm conditions, a bit breezy as well, with a chance of isolated showers mainly in the central and southeast Bahamas, mostly fair and mild tonight. A small craft caution remains in effect for the central and southeastern islands. Winds northeast to east at 10 to 15 knots, falling light and variable at times in the northwest Bahamas, and northeasterly at 15 to 20 knots in the central and southeastern Bahamas. Seas 2 to 4 feet in the northwestern islands, but 4 to 7 feet in the central and southeastern islands. It's about 67 degrees right now in Nassau. Look for highs getting up to around 81 Fahrenheit, 27 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to a cool 61 Fahrenheit, 16 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have your extended outlook coming up after traffic in just a bit. It's time for a break, but when we come back, we are discussing the day's top stories right here on Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9, your home for fresh news and smart talk all day.
Technology serves to make our lives better, so why not your business too? At Custom Computers, we've been maintaining our knowledge and relationships with top tech companies since 1987 and carry only the most trusted brands like Apple, Microsoft, HP, and more. No company has helped more businesses build reliable IT systems than Custom Computers. You name it, we've done it. Call 396-1101 to talk to any of our business experts. Find trust in your tech. Count on Custom Computers.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's here. It's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Don Sargent is going to be joining us. You can join the conversation as well. Tweet us at MorningBlend969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. You can email us, morningblend@nasguard.com, or you can text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 422-GR96, 422-4796, standard text rate supply. Coming up this morning, we have more weather and traffic. And in our 8 o'clock hour, we're going to be talking with the folks from Samsung. They have an announcement to make. They're going to be telling us about that. We're very excited to hear. In our 9 o'clock hour in Morning Blend Business, we will be talking about the BISX. Many are watching the performance of the index so far this year, and there have been some things that are causing some eyebrows to raise. We're going to talk about that this morning, what's happening, and what does that mean if you are an investor as well. So a lot to get to, but let's begin, though, with what's in the news. And in the news, what's happening with the COVID numbers? COVID cases nearly doubled in March. If you look through the numbers from the Ministry of Health's dashboards, 613 cases reported in March According to the COVID dashboards, 336 were reported in January and 335 cases in February. So 613 definitely is double what we had been seeing so far this year. The data shows that 1,376 new COVID-19 cases were reported so far in 2021. New Providence saw the most recorded cases so far this year with 758, followed by Grand Bahama with 348, Abaco with 114 and Eleuthera with 45. For April, 92 cases have been recorded. 92 cases have been recorded this month. 28 on April 1st, 35 on April 2nd, 16 on April 3rd, and 13 on April 4th. As of April 4th, 9,263 cases have been recorded in the country in total. Between April 1st and April 4th, 51 cases were reported on New Providence, 25 in Grand Bahama, 8 in Eleuthera. That's just 4 days. 8 in Eleuthera, 3 on Bimini and Cat Key, 3 on Andros, 1 on Abaco, and 1 location pending. So the numbers are trending up again, and those words, third wave, keep being bandied about. What is happening, and what are we going to do about it? Why is this happening? People all weekend sending videos of locations here in Nassau, people attending events, dancing and partying, and not a mask in sight, and in close proximity. We know what's been going on over the past few weeks. Parties, campaigning, people traveling, everything like it's 2019 again. What do we do, folks? What are we going to do about it? Let's hear what you have to say. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. All this is happening while people are getting vaccinated, finally, and the vaccination process will resume tomorrow in New Providence and Grand Bahama, Loyola Hall on Gladstone Road, Church of God of Prophecy, East Street, Susan J. Wallace Community Center in Grand Bahama. And, of course, the vaccinations are open to healthcare workers, people 60 and older, uniform branches, so the Defense Force, Police Force, Customs, Immigration, and to make an appointment, visit https://vax.gov.bs. I need to make that little vax.gov.bs. I'm sure that's what that is. Okay, please note that people who do not fall within the priority groups should not attempt to make an appointment. But of course, we're seeing lots of people who are not in those groups bragging and boasting and showing their vaccine stamps. So what's happening there? I don't know what's going on. But anyway, this is typical of how we do things in this country, it seems. But that's happening. At least they're getting it. All right, so let's talk about it, though. What are we going to do? What's happening? Why are we seeing these numbers? Are people, as callers have said, they're just COVID fatigue has set in, and they just can't take it anymore, and they're going to live their lives. This is what was happening last year, though. People were still talking about they have to live their life while we were in the middle of it. So for some people, they never stopped. And but it seems like more people have decided, well, indeed. Okay, so let's hear from you. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Let's go to your text messages. Somebody says, good morning. Hope that you enjoyed your Easter break. If the U.S. is so concerned about the interest, this is about the China story. Okay, we'll get to that in a second. We'll get to that. This one here. Dwight and Don, the government needs to shut down the fish fry again. I've never seen any crowd other than at Junkanoo. I guess you're saying that large? It's sad. Absolutely no masks. Well, it's not just the fish fry. Not just the fish fry. Another one. Lock the place down and let the innocent suffer for the guilty. You see why free mass testing is urgently needed. ASAP, right? Yep. People are saying that. Don Sargent joining us this morning. Good morning, sir.
Morning, Dwight.
Great to have you with us. Hope you had a great Easter.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. All right. Were you being responsible this weekend?
Home.
Oh, okay.
I was home. I didn't
So you were
like
good. You were good. Very good. All right. What do you think is happening here? Double the cases that we saw last month and January. Double the cases
It's
in March.
people. I don't know if there's a specific thing to blame, but I know in my neighborhood alone, every single day there was a different party. And what is the restrictions now? You can have 20 people. Is it 20 or is it still 10 or what is it?
Somewhere in between there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was more than that. All right, whatever that was, it was more than that. All around. Even like I've seen some churches, who I'm not going to call, go way over that. I don't know if those events are part of the blame, but I mean, I don't know. It's starting to feel like people just don't care anymore. Mm-hmm. So, from my observation, it just seems like as soon as I saw that, I knew that, numbers are probably going to go up. And if it isn't just the numbers that are going to go up, we may be starting this discussion of a lockdown. And I see, Dwight, that's already began.
Yeah.
I actually haven't paid attention much to the numbers because I was in holiday mode trying to ignore reality by staying in my little bubble. But it seems as though as soon as I peeked out, it's just as bad as I thought it would have been.
Mm-hmm. Boy, how are we here again? Isn't that something? Yeah, that's very scary that people are expecting to hear this, right? That a lockdown, extended curfew, that this is likely, and they are prepared. Every time something happens, you hear people say, "Oh, we're going to get locked down again." So that's not changing anybody's behavior, but we're all expecting it. And it's very sad that we are there. I mean, we were lucky that we didn't have that over the weekend. But if this continues, definitely we're going to be having some issues. We're going to be having some issues. All right, let's get back to your text messages. We have no one else to blame for this rise in COVID cases but blatant stupidity. I saw photos of a campaign office opening in Elizabeth over the weekend with 100 people with no masks and no social distancing, but that yellow shirt was on sleek. Sigh, COVIDiots at its finest. Yikes. Okay. This text here, the Israelites want to have their own way. Then when the cases spike, them and the opposition blame ministers and the government. I don't know what you were complaining about. The party must go on. Business owners have to make money. So what the government should do is ban people from Canada, because Canada is in its third wave. Well, almost everybody's in the third wave. So just shut down the tourism industry again. But you say the business owners have to make money. Oh, okay. So which one is it? Because everybody seems to be having a third wave. So, yeah, shut down the tourism industry again. And then the business owners will do what? Okay. Another one here. From what I've seen in my travels over the weekend, the numbers will definitely increase. Yeah. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Mr. Strachan, how are you doing, sir?
Doing well. Good morning.
You and your guest. Mr. Strachan.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Mm-hmm.
Oh, boy, you was the boy who crying Wolfie.
I don't know how.
I mean, why are you pulling for lockdown? As they tell you again, life have to go on.
Is that what you heard?
I mean, life goes on, Mr. Strachan.
But I mean, Dave, every day you come on the air and you say these things. That's what you heard me say? I'm pulling for a lockdown?
I mean, that you saying just now. Mr. Strachan, I ain't picking you.
You need to. What do you listen to us on?
Pardon me?
What do you listen to us on? Is it a radio, or you listen to us online, or something, or what do you?
No, I say on the radio, though. If I say not online.
Okay. All right. Well,
Mr. Strachan, so don't feel picking you. I'm trying to tell you, Mr. Strachan. Do realize the government open the country? First of all, Nakia Forbes said a spike in the loot will come from spring breakers. So, what you want payments to do? Spring breakers coming over, partying. Payments when you march on the bottom line. Life goes on. So, what do people do? Stand out all day and coop up. Mr. Strachan.
I'm listening.
When women saying right now, life goes on, they wear their masks, they do their part, but what people do? Stay in the house, cook all day? Life goes on.
Mm-hmm.
You want people to be scared for the rest of their life? Don't you want? Just do your best, wear your mask, keep a distance, but life goes on. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? The Prime Minister wouldn't dare try to lock down again, because guess what happens? The business owners will chew his head off. You know why? Life goes on. Okay? Just wear your mask strong and do your best, okay? All right?
Yep. Thank you very much. Okay. This is our friend talking about Canada locking. Okay. So you only want them to shut down Bahamian businesses. Yeah, that's how you'll go. That's not what it said either. It didn't say any of that. I'm just saying that locking down or banning travel from any particular place will likely mean shutting down the tourism sector, which is one of the largest employers in the country. So, I mean, that's going to be a problem, right? How can we ignore this? Right. So the party must go on. You said that. So, okay, well, that's fine. That's just life, as Dave says, life goes on. Everybody, whatever, who gets it, that's fine. Let the numbers go up. Who cares? Wear your mask. Yep. As the Spring Breakers in Florida said, only idiots. Oh, you got to be stupid if you get COVID. So, okay, well, then there we go. That's how it is. Fine. End of story. Right, Don?
The more you apply logic to the situation, you're gonna get a headache. So I don't know, man. I feel like stupid's winning again. You know, you ever had that feeling, Dwight, like last year when everybody was saying that the government needs to open up the borders and yada yada yada, and you're like, considering what's happening in Florida, and then they did it anyway. And then now it's like an acknowledgement that, yeah, that was kind of a poor life choice at the time. This feels like, I don't know, it feels just like everyone's given up or throwing their hands up in there and just like, yeah, whatever, we're all going to get it anyway. So this, and the thing is, like, it's not like we need a lockdown. Just stop having parties. Just distance.
No, man.
That's it.
You can't do that. Life has to go on. You can't be cooped up.
You know, for a nation of people who overwhelmingly seem to be against facts, you know what? Whatever. I'm not even going to go down that road. Sure, bro. It's going to be great.
Mm-hmm. Hey, everybody likes a good party, so that's fine. That's great. Yeah.
Yes, everybody loves. Well, yeah, whatever. I've noticed that the political campaigning in my neighborhood's been slowing down a bit.
No. That was only for Easter. They took a little break for Easter. You know, you can't do that during Holy Week, Don. You can't do that.
The liquor stores were crowded though, so I don't know.
Yeah, for the great.
I guess everybody's getting their spiritual inland and libational celebrations on, you know.
Right. But I'm sure the campaigning will be back in full steam this week. Probably today, because now Holy Week is over. It's time to go. Possibly, 1 year of this, which no one believes. But yeah.
Well, I guess we won't have parties until Saturday and Sunday now. No more parties on Fridays and Mondays, right?
Well, what? I think it'll be every day. What are you talking about? Why just a weekend? No.
I don't know, man. I thought, we could confine these things. No, it's every day. There's nightclubs that are open every day, too.
Of course. What are you talking about?
This insanity. I guess people got to make money. I understand that. But at the same time, you can just not do that. You just, whatever. This is what we want, right? This is what Bahamians love.
It's beautiful. Let's take some more calls. Good morning, call. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Dwight and Don.
Hi, good morning.
Yeah, Dwight and Don. I'm one of those curious. I mean, I wonder. I don't know nobody who's an alcoholic who stopped drinking because of COVID, right? Or because of the introduction, because of us being introduced to COVID, right? I say that to say this, right? Humans are social creatures, right? That's who we are, right? Now, I'm not condoning all of those wild parties in no form or fashion or no way, right? But humans are social social creatures, right? So for us to believe that we can get the young people in this country or the world to just because somebody said, oh, it's COVID, we need to stop partying, to stop partying, that ain't gonna never happen, right? Because here it is, right? COVID-19, the vaccination, it doesn't prevent you from catching no COVID, right? It all once you get the vaccination, of course, as far as what I'm aware of, you still could contract or spread the disease, right? So when you have that type of situation looming over us, right? We need to find ways to bring to the public ways for us to live with this virus disease, whatever, moving forward. Because from what I could see, COVID going to be with us like our AIDS still with us, and a lot of other diseases that man really can't find ways to deal with mankind, right? COVID ain't going nowhere. COVID is a multi-billion-dollar industry. It ain't going nowhere. So our government, our country, right, we have to find ways, right, proper ways for our people to socialize because the COVID-19 is really going to be with us for the rest of our life. You know, it can be another influenza, right, in my view. It is not going nowhere. You guys all have a nice day.
Okay. All right. I hear you. It's possible. But we're not seeing the behaviors change, though.
I mean, his point about living with COVID, like, yeah, that's the whole world's doing. That's why going in and out of lockdowns all the time. That's what it looks like. That's what living with COVID is going to look like and continue to look like. Nobody wants that. But, you know, it is what it is, right?
All right. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. Good morning, Don.
Good morning. Good morning.
How was your holiday?
Hey, yeah.
Wow, Dwight, you didn't enjoy your holiday?
But the thing is, I somewhat agree with the previous caller. We need to find a way to strike a balance. Not to what I've seen over the weekend, there was no balance. It was just straight 2019 carnival. That's what I saw over the weekend. Mm-hmm. In fact, I passed. I was leaving work, heading home, after curfew, and they're still feeding to a certain corner at a certain bar. And I was like, wow, that is just insane. What I think we need to realize as the people is that, especially young people, is that the protocols are put in place not to protect only our lives, but most importantly, those that are more susceptible of dying.
Exactly.
Between the age of 18 to 55, we're not going to be the ones that die from this disease. It's our grandparents and our great-grandparents that are going to pass away. Mm-hmm. So I understand what individuals are saying that we need to get back to some sort of normalcy, but we have to do it with some type of logic, some type of common sense. We can't be having events where we spread this virus and take it home to our loved ones and they die. Right? So we got to do this thing sensibly, logic, and find that healthy balance between living a normal life, but also ensuring that we practice the protocols needed to continue to save lives.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much. Appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
Yeah. Let's take another call, and we'll get back to your messages. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Always along with you and Dwight, you and Don, Dwight.
Good morning.
And of course, Dwight, you know something? Sometimes I listen. I don't like listening to ignorance. Just last week, right? You had those so-pound people, you know what I'm saying, celebrating through the country, right? And no police was directing them. You see, people just don't care, okay? A lot of us doesn't care.
Who people were celebrating?
Say it again?
Who people were celebrating?
Those low-pound people. Another thing is...
As
right?
in the gang?
In the whole group, a bunch of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, see? That's the problem. And, everybody are mixing up. And nobody care about wearing masks or anything of the sort, People just not listening.
What did they have? A convention? I mean, how
I
did they
don't know what
celebrate?
they have, but they had some sort of celebration. Other thing is, right?
Don, are you aware of this?
That other point
Okay.
is, other point is, right? When it comes to the Chinese, establishing, places in the Bahamas, I ain't for that. And the government's got to realize when they do stuff like that, they're hurting our people in the United States, our family and our friends. Okay? And I ain't for that, and a lot of us are not for that. The government got to give some kind of a situation, some kind of recommendation, because they may be getting something from the Chinese, but it's not trickling down to the poor Bahamian people other than sickness. Thank you for your time.
Oh, dear. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Let's read some messages, and we've got to take a break. This text here, Dwight and Don. Question: what are the rules for the clubs inside hotels and their restaurants? Does the curfew apply? I would think so. I believe it's supposed to. Well, you mean for international visitors who are staying there, and can they be in the club at the hotel they're staying at after midnight? I don't know. That's a good question. You know anything about that, Don?
I haven't actually heard. I don't know. I stopped paying attention to it. To be quite honest with you, but also too, that's a case of whataboutism. Because at the same time, in order to get to, so you got to take a PCR test. Or was it a rapid test? One of those tests. You got to take a test to basically get it. Whether the test is accurate, I don't know. But the local nightclubs, you don't, right? And I'm not advocating that people need to take a test just to go to a nightclub. But I'm just saying, the numbers of people, I can't speak for all, just the one that's in my neighborhood. It's a bit absurd. And I've seen several times where the club actually closed down. I don't know if it was because of the COVID police or the situation, but they just did. And instead, people just literally had a nightclub on the side of the road. And it was a massive crowd. And I just was like, I'm just going to go home and mind my own business. So, I don't know, man. It's absurd.
This text here: are we as Bahamians blind? Europe, U.S., Canada all started their newest surge. Once again, are these illnesses or positive cases while multiple tests being done for travel and work testing? Okay.
Well, yeah, I think the UK just announced today, or was it last night? Whatever. 7 hours ahead of something. They announced that they were relaxing some of their restrictions, but there's no end in sight of essentially the end of their lockdown situation or the opening up of international travel for regular citizens. And it's New Zealand's same situation. Canada's been wonky about this. All over the world. That's just what the text was said. But the part that confuses me a bit is, one, I don't have the perception that, because one of the callers earlier was correct. We are social beings. People are going to, be people, and they're going to do people things. But I don't know, man. It's just like someone else said, it's just, it has to be struck. A balance has to be struck. It can't just be, let's just go all out and live life as we did before. Like, we're not there yet. But I'm not saying also that people should just be cooped up in their houses. But at the same time, social distancing, that one thing I haven't seen done much. Some places do it. Some other places, no. I've seen some. Anyway, you know what? I care to squeal anybody, but I'm just saying, some things have been happening that I'm sure we've all noticed that just don't need to be the case. And we know better, but we ain't doing better. That's the problem.
Yeah. All right, let's read these, and then we're going to take a break. This one says here, life will go on until one of their close relatives dies from COVID. Then the blame game will start. Yep, that's how it normally works. Can you repeat the COVID vaccine registration link again? Thank you. Yep, it is vax.gov.bs. vax.gov.bs. All right. Another one here. The real party is going to happen when we vote minutes out. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. And so if it's true to what you said, a large number of people should be charged before the courts because the commissioner said the police will be everywhere over the weekend. Okay. Well, we will see. And Dwight, COVID death is far more agonizing than COVID fatigue. Stop this craziness. The videos from the weekend were extremely disturbing. Law enforcement cannot enforce common sense. When the next My Fellow Bahamians and Residents speech starts, please don't whine and moan. The PLP headquarters is ridiculously busy yesterday. Masks were not worn by everyone there. Dave needs to stop. Bahamians need to be smart. Life does not go on for all that come into contact with this virus. Sad. Yep, very true. Very true. Another one, good morning, isn't wearing your mask 6 feet distance and sanitizing your hand and avoiding large crowds living with COVID. I would prefer people to say they don't want to follow the new protocols. Very good point. Very good point. Another one, since the CDC and WHO have given false reports in the recent past, our government needs to be more straightforward in their COVID management. Like, why aren't there more vaccination centers in over-the-hill areas? Okay, but these are related? You're concerned about where they are and the COVID. Okay. All right, I hear you. Read it. No lockdowns. Extend the curfew to midnight and go hard with enforcing the COVID fines and laws. Shut the nightclubs and bars and liquor stores at 7 p.m. Now you see why I said the PM should have shut the beaches and the country down for the past weekend. Fusion had a big crowd. That's the text. All that's in the text, okay? Another one here. What the government needs to do is drop the hammer on all individuals that contravene the protocols. We must do whatever is necessary to protect lives and livelihoods because obviously we as a people have no discipline. And final text here. The leader of the defense force got COVID because they keep having official parties. Minister needs to stop having these official parties spreading COVID. Okay, well, I don't know how you can say that. Is that how we... Okay. He came into contact with somebody. I don't think... Did they say that he has it? I think he's in isolation. So, but yeah. Okay, let's take a break. When we come back, more of what's making news on this Tuesday morning here on Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
Around the world, infecting men, women, boy, and girl. Causing folks to quarantine. I'm talking about COVID-19. Coronavirus, you're a pest. You've got this world in a mess. Like a lethal weapon in the dark, leaving death, destruction in your path. COVID-19, COVID-19. Oh, you're such a killing machine. COVID-19, COVID-19. An enemy that remains unseen.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
This is AP News. I'm Rita Foley. We expect Derek Chauvin's murder trial to focus again today on his use of force in the death of George Floyd. The prosecution's star witness yesterday, the police chief.
Yesterday, prosecutors showed how Chauvin violated department policy with his knee on Floyd's neck for more than 9 minutes. Police Chief Medaria Arredondo.
It is contrary to our training to indefinitely your knee on a prone, handcuffed individual.
ER Dr. Bradford Langenfeld, who pronounced Floyd dead, testified he believed it was lack of oxygen.
That was one of the more likely possibilities.
Chauvin's lawyer blames Floyd's death on drugs and on cross-exam, asked if that can cause hypoxia or lack of oxygen, which the doctor agreed with. Audio courtesy Court TV. I'm Julie Walker.
The number of COVID-19 infections is rising again, but CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky says there's a little bit of a bright light here.
We know that about 55% of adults over the age of 65 are fully vaccinated, and what we're seeing is both a decrease in emergency department visits as well as hospitalizations associated with that demographic.
The San Francisco School Board is poised to reverse a much criticized decision to purge 44 schools of names it said were linked to racism, sexism, or other injustices. The turnaround aimed at toning down outrage at what critics denounced as ill-time activism. Baylor beat Gonzaga to win its first NCAA men's basketball title, 86-70. The AP has learned that Major League Baseball plans to move the All-Star Game to Denver after pulling this year's Midsummer Classic from Atlanta over objections to sweeping changes to Georgia's voting laws. The announcement expected today. This is AP News. North Korea is bailing out of the Tokyo Olympics. The AP's Charles de Ledesma reports from overseas.
The North says it will not participate in the next Olympics because of the coronavirus pandemic. Run by the North Sports Ministry says the decision was made during a National Olympic Committee meeting on March 25, where members prioritise protecting athletes from what they say is the world public health crisis caused by COVID-19. North Korea sent 22 athletes to the 2018 Winter Olympics in South Korea, which helped it initiate diplomacy with Seoul and the US. That diplomacy has since evaporated. And North Korea's decision to sit out of the Tokyo Olympics is a setback for hopes to revive it. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
The Dow, the NASDAQ, and the S&P were all up yesterday. The Dow up 373 points. The NASDAQ up 225 points. The S&P was up 58. I'm Rita Foley, AP News.
7:12 the time now. Time for your Morning Blend Traffic Alert, brought to you by RBC Royal Bank. In your real time out there on the streets in New Providence at this hour, just some congestion, light congestion at some of the major intersections like Prince Charles and Fox Hill Road. You can be seeing traffic in multiple directions at that intersection there. Building traffic on Blue Hill Road, northbound lanes just north of Soldier Road, but nothing bad at this hour. And Faith Avenue, Carmichael Road, and Smile Butler Highway, that area there, seeing some congestion there. But not bad so far, even with the major hotspots like Smile Butler Highway and Gladstone Road looking pretty traffic-free at this hour. That's your real-time traffic. We'll have another update for you in just over an hour after the 8 o'clock news. That's your Morning Blend Traffic Alert, brought to you by RBC Royal Bank. And 7:13, time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Rev Cable Bahamas. Here's what's happening. We've got high pressure just north of the area that will continue to produce mostly dry and stable conditions across the country today. Beachgoers in the central and southeast Bahamas should exercise caution due to the risk of rip currents at north and east coast beaches. For all areas today, look for partly mostly sunny and warm conditions, but a bit breezy with a chance of isolated showers, mainly in the central and southeast Bahamas, mostly fair and mild tonight. A small craft caution is in effect for the central and southeast Bahamas. 65 degrees, 66 degrees right now in Nassau. Look for highs getting up to around 81 Fahrenheit, 27 Celsius. Getting back down tonight for your overnight lows near 61 Fahrenheit, 16 Celsius. In your extended outlook, high pressure will persist across the area into the weekend. For tomorrow, Wednesday, we're expecting mostly sunny and warm conditions. Thursday, mostly sunny and warm these Bahamas. That's your Morning Blend Weather Check. Weather Check brought to you by Rev Cable Bahamas. And for basketball fans, it's still time for you to sign up or upgrade to Rev Trio and enjoy NBA League Pass absolutely free. Call 601-8992 or email trio@cablebahamas.com to sign up. Rev, you and us together. We're back with more Morning Blend after these messages here on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Roaming just got easier. Say hello to more with our new Liberty Prime plan. With more minutes, more texts, and more data to do the things you love right here at home and even when you travel. With the all-new Liberty Prime, Liberty Premium, and Liberty Elite, you've got one less worry. Roam again. Alive. Believe in best. Believe in best.
Basketball is back, baby, and so is NBA League Pass, only with Rev Trio. Sign up for Rev Trio today and enjoy NBA League Pass absolutely free, along with incredible prizes, including a brand new 50-inch smart TV, NBA gear, and more. With tons of prizes and gear, signing up for Trio is the best on and off-court move this year. Just call 601-8992 or visit www.rev.bs/promotions/trio. Sign up for Rev Trio today and enjoy NBA League Pass absolutely free.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store, Screws and Fastener Streets. Call 326-1976.
Stay a step ahead of technology with certainty and support from Custom Computers. Our know-how team is here to help you zero in on your next big tech purchase, finding solutions that take your productivity to the next level using only the best and most reliable brands. With 4 stores all across Nassau on East Bay, West Bay, Old Fort Bay, and Palmdale, there's no stopping you from stepping up your tech. Reach out to us at 396-1100. Find trust in your tech. Count on Custom Computers.
The best place to get a new iPhone is at PTC. Make the iPhone 12 mini yours for just $199. That's big savings to go with our sweet postpaid value of unlimited local calls, international minutes, roaming data and minutes, plus all the data you need. Stream, share, and stay connected on the best LTE network when you switch to PTC. Visit a store to sign up today and get the iPhone 12 mini for just $199. Conditions apply.
Cash is what we have been using for generations. The only way to pay or receive money. That is great news for business owners. I'm Lasagna Mizik, Managing Director at RBC Royal Bank, encouraging you to find out how going cashless can benefit your business with faster transactions and settlements, better cash flow management, plus reduce risk of theft. Learn more at rbc.com/Caribbean/go cashless. RBC Royal Bank. Banking reimagined.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
I feel all broke up, ain't sleep all night. My body's aching, no appetite. Scratchy throat, runny nose too. Got to see my doctor, it could be the flu. Oh doctor, doctor, I ain't doing good. If I got the flu, then that's said open your mouth wide. Say you've got all the symptoms of the flu thus far. I got the flu, I got the flu, I got the flu. Doctor, tell me.
We're back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strong along with Don Sargent on this Tuesday morning. Apparently that is something doctors aren't hearing much of at all these days. People claiming to have the flu, and it doesn't seem like they're in significant numbers, people with the flu at all. As everybody is finally washing their hands and trying to not sneeze in front of people. So all these years we were begging people to do these things, but apparently we're finally listening. That's one thing we're listening about, but the social distancing and avoiding large crowds, apparently. Some people aren't getting the message, aren't getting that
That's
message.
only going to last until Dwight. You know that.
Which part? The hand washing stuff?
Yeah, the instant this dies down, it's back to normal.
Yeah? Seriously? You don't think things have changed to the people are going to be hand
Dwight,
sanitizing?
have you not learned anything about
wow.
We will do the bare minimum to get by, and the instant where the coast is clear, we'll bite back to the same habits.
Wow.
Some people will change, sure, but en masse, nah.
My goodness. Wow, that is scary. That is very scary. I heard something this morning about the CDC changing a lot of the rules they had for schools and when to sanitize and what to sanitize with. And like you might be right. We're already seeing those things change. People have stopped disinfecting everything they bought, including those in cardboard packages. Remember when we used to do that? Right? They've stopped doing that. And so it's only a matter of time before the wipes disappear and the sanitizing stations break down.
You know we're returning back to normal when the price of like Lysol goes down, right? When you see that normalizes in price, we're back to normal. I'm sorry, man, but I think you're going to see a lot of shops, probably food stores, some restaurants and retail businesses. They're going to continue the hand sanitization probably a little bit afterwards. And then when you see those start to fade out, which they inevitably will, you will be right back to normal. I think those would be the indicators I wouldn't say you have to look forward to, but you could pay attention to. I do think there should still be a public awareness campaign to let people know, even after this is over, we can't be going back to where we were before. Because if our flu numbers are down, because I have no idea, there's also the question of whether or not people are going to the doctor for it. Considering, when you present those types of symptoms, people, typically healthcare professionals are like, maybe stay away from us for a bit. And you don't want to deal with the stigma of the situation, right? Because I know persons who came down with a cold and they just did not want to be around other people because they don't want anybody to say that they have COVID.
Exactly.
So,
it's crazy. So the CDC is saying that no longer recommending daily disinfection of schools to prevent the spread of the coronavirus. Now, what in God's name? The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention updated its guidance yesterday, saying that disinfecting chemicals like ammonia and bleach need be used only within 24 hours after an infected person has been there. Last summer, the agency recommended strong disinfecting chemicals be used daily to prevent the spread of the virus in classrooms. Earlier this year, the CDC posted documents meant to de-emphasize disinfection on such a regular schedule, but Monday's guidance more clearly erased the daily recommendation. The updated guidance applies to homes, schools, and other settings that are not hospitals or healthcare facilities. Okay. So here we go. Very odd that this is happening as the numbers are increasing in places, and
I make sense of it, aren't you?
Right? This is why there's so much distrust and so many people who are apathetic and we're like, we got to live and every day this changes. So you were telling us to do this before. Soon you'll tell us to stop washing hands. And soon you'll tell us to stop disinfecting and sanitizing our hands. And so I don't understand. I don't know what's happening. But I mean, what's the issue if they are? I mean, I know you can overdo things, but why? Why would you issue a guidance like that?
Yeah, it doesn't inspire confidence at all. I think is the polite way of saying that.
My goodness. This text here, the clubs aren't open in the hotels bonded or are not open. Okay, but what's happening, and people are telling us this, right, that the bars are still open in the hotels, and this is what you've been hearing over the weekend, some of the pictures I've been seeing. So people are at the bars, and they are at those places in large numbers. Now, what the texter was asking is if those places still allowed to continue running, especially for the people who are staying at the hotel. Does everything shut down at 10 o'clock at a hotel when you are living on the property? And that is a good question. I do not know. But we know that people are getting home very late. I heard in my neighborhood, this was after midnight, either Easter Sunday morning. I heard the police cars. I heard them, right? Somebody was clearly on the streets and they were trying to get that person off the street. And these police officers don't care if you're sleeping or not. because that horn, that siren sound, well, they don't care. But so people are out and about well after midnight still. And where are they coming from? Or where are they going? Let's take this call. Good morning, call. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Dwight.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, Don, and good morning to those who wake up in the land of the living. Hope everybody had a blessed Easter. Dwight, to be honest with you, I am officers in this country, in particular police officers, and they fed up with this. You understand me? They even had a toll. It played a toll on their lives, and especially being in places like sitting on a corner. When some of them said that they wish, they wish they could be doing something more exciting than sitting on a corner and stopping people. But needless to say, I want to ask you a question. Okay, the vaccine is here. Okay. Is the persons who are reporting to have symptoms, are they being vaccinated? The age, I think all those numbers are those persons. Do they still have contact for them to vaccinate those set of people?
The latest numbers?
Yeah. Like say for instance, we had 30 numbers. Those 30 persons who went to the hospital, did they got the vaccine?
You can't get the vaccine now. No, that's not recommended at all. You don't get.
Oh, okay. Because bro, like the gentleman said earlier, we gotta live with this some way, Dwight. You can't just take it. And, it's here. People are dying. I had a friend, close family friend, died from it because of their conditions. But at the end of the day, Mr. Strachan, the humans have to take responsibilities. You have to protect yourself. Now, if you ain't want to protect yourself, then that's life. That's your life.
Okay, is he still there? What happened? Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Boy. Oh, boy. All right, let me read these messages and we'll move on to another issue in the news. This text here says, the reality is that we are very tired of COVID, but COVID is not tired of us. And so we must all do our part as I look at Canada and their issues and the issues they're facing. Time to stop blaming the government and all of us do our part. Okay. Another one here. We need to start giving all ages the vaccine. The younger people going to work and partying, so give them the vaccine, not the old people that are already staying home. Okay, you could look at it like that, yes. Or if the young people refuse to take it, the older people who will be home when the young people come from partying and working, when they come around them, they will not get as sick or not get sick at all. So, yes, but they will, it seems, gradually get to the younger folks. Although it does seem like anybody who wants it can get it somehow. It is definitely happening. I don't know how, but it is happening. Another one here. You forget Minnis said that last year that curfew doesn't apply to hotel properties, only behaving businesses. Did he say that? Okay. Well, that's problematic. All right, let's move on to another topic. The headline in today's National Guardian, one of the headlines, U.S. General warns of China's plan for influence in the Bahamas and the region. Our Jasper Ward writing about this, saying that while noting that China continues to undermine U.S. influence globally, a 4-star U.S. general recently warned that China is also attempting to use influence in the Bahamas by offering large-scale economic investments and material support for infrastructure projects. Okay, that's certainly not new, but okay. General Glenn Van Herk, who serves as U.S. Air Force Commander for the U.S. Northern Command and North American Air Defense Command, making the comment while testifying before the U.S. Senate Armed Services Committee last month. He said, quote, Senator, we look closely at China's influence. They are absolutely in the NORTHCOM area of responsibility, attempting to influence the Bahamas, working through 5G. For example, the same thing in Mexico, we continue to defend all domains. Van Herk saying that China continues to pursue an aggressive geopolitical strategy that seeks to undermine U.S. influence around the globe and shape the international environment to its advantage. In the U.S. NORTHCOM area of responsibility, China has made, this is a quote now from Van Herk, China has made deliberate attempts to increase its economic and political influence and with our close partners in Mexico and the Bahamas. While the United States remains the economic and military partner of choice in the region, China is seeking to grow its trade and investment in Mexico, and over the past few years has invested in the Bahamas' vital tourism sector through marquee infrastructure. Militarily, China is rapidly advancing a modernization program that seeks to erode our military advantages and deter us from intervening in a regional conflict. Okay. Now, several projects have come from the Bahamas' good relations with China. And of course, we all know the Thomas A. Robinson National Stadium was a gift project of China, and the airport Gateway Expressway was constructed by a Chinese company using China's low-interest loan. Bahama Resort, which is one of the largest private employers in the country, is owned by a Chinese entity and was built by the Chinese, as was the Point in downtown Nassau.
Yeah, the report, I think it was a press briefing report or something. They put those out every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
They had one came out, I think, in 2012, as well as one in 2015. It's not new remotely. Of course, again, America's always going to look out for its own interests. Every country does.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think we should look at it necessarily as something to be I don't know. I'm not. After doing a lot of extensive review on that, the entire issue of Chinese involvement in places like the Bahamas, I don't think it's as distressful as it's made out to be in the media. But when you got two superpowers going at each other, a trade war is still raging on. The optics aren't going to be the best.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what a previous caller was saying, that well, if the U.S. is concerned, I think that's what he was saying. If the U.S. is concerned, then what are you going to do? What are you offering? What are you offering to your buddy, the Bahamas, right? More from Van Herker. He's saying that the Bahamas has been extraordinarily challenged over the last 18 months. He said, quote, "The Bahamas continues to address the severe economic impacts resulting from Hurricane Dorian in 2019 and markedly decreased tourism resulting from the coronavirus pandemic. Even so, we continue to work closely with our Royal Bahamas Defense Force partners to improve regional maritime security in the southeast approaches to the United States. U.S. Northcom directly supports RBDF efforts by enhancing their domain awareness with maritime surveillance system radars currently being deployed across the Bahamas' island chain. U.S. Northcom is firmly committed to our lasting collaboration with continue to support our partners and valued partners." Mm-hmm. Okay. This is, again, as Don's saying, not nothing new. We know this. This is what's been going on for many, many years now. And so they're concerned. Yes, they are. Okay. And what? What about it? What do you think? Give us a call. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us 422-4796. I've got a call here. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Dwight.
Hi.
And good morning to Don.
Morning.
Dwight, see, I am going to be honest and fair with you. And I want the Bahamas to listen to me carefully what I'm saying. Obama had 8 years. I not 8 years of vice presidency. He was going all over the world saying a black leader staying on too long, they go up and all kind of foolishness. The British has gone a long time. Just went back to the Bahamas. Canadians all the time taxing us to death for the unfair banking policies, etc., etc. Europeans were saying, all they doing is blacklisting. While the Chinese speak right in the Caribbean and the Bahamas, build us a stadium, an international stadium, help us the roadway and everything. You see? And my thing is, what I'm trying to say is, America ain't do nothing. The Canadians ain't do nothing. They ain't help us. They ain't do nothing. Nothing to trick us out there to help the Bahamas.
Well, I mean, that's not fair to say. You know,
that's what I fair. What they did?
The U.S. Coast Guard. The U.S. Coast Guard is here. They are definitely helping. Their donations all the time from the U.S. government. If you get lost at sea here, it's more than likely going to be the Coast Guard that saves you, not the Defense Force.
Yes, I understand that. That partnership been going on for years and years. They ain't really doing no favor like that. They're doing it to protect their border. You know what I mean? They're doing it to stop the trouble from coming to the country and the legal people, etc. It's a hypocritical nation. See, If I could have voted, I would have voted for Donald Trump, Trump built an embassy. I see things in the sky. I can take criticism. I don't want nobody to criticize my country. We hiding the Chinese. We know the Chinese ain't a perfect country, but they helping people in this region and South America. All America them doing, and some other countries in this country, put this population in a small country and poor country to try and confirm them. But we need to start up in the country and be better negotiators. Like, for example, the American was giving us $15 billion to use up in from, I think, 54, 55. We need to be supposed to be getting like $5 billion a year now, right? There's all kind of things this country get, but we just have a bunch of weak leaders, man. And thanks for taking my call.
Okay, all right. Interesting viewpoints there. Okay, let's take another call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Dwight and Dawn. How you all doing?
Good morning.
Okay, and good morning to the nation. Like Dawn, I completely agree with your sentiments, Dawn. I don't think there's anything that should be placed on that report at all, Dwight, because all nations globally, in particular first world nations, are looking out for their own interests and advancing their own diplomatic positions, and that's just what it is. And the Bahamas we are perfectly positioned, and everyone wants to be friends with the Bahamas, and so that's just what it is. That's simply international and global business and diplomacy at play. But what I am concerned with, though, as it relates to our relationship with the U.S. is how is it that this current administration, who has responsibility, has been unable over the last 12, 13 months, 1 year and 1 month, to capitalize on our close relationship and our proven relationship and bond with the United States to try and negotiate or broker some deal where we could get COVID-19 testing as well as COVID-19 vaccines. That seems to me to be something that the Bahamian people should be extremely good. This government is incompetent to negotiate any kind of relief for our economy, especially considering that perhaps 75, 80% of our tourism comes from North America.
I mean,
okay? and secondly,
but Anton, we do have the vaccine and we do have testing. Are you?
No, well, that's my next point that I want to go on to, Dwight. Secondly, I don't know, but you all, I believe me and Dawn may be on the same page. Dwight, I believe you may try and fight it back. I believe most Bahamians would be on the same page for the point I'm about to express. The Bahamas has been taken down to mediocrity in our operation. How is it that a government could be prideful when it used Bahamian taxpayer money to prepay for over 100,000 shots of COVID-19 vaccine, but it has pomp and pageantry to celebrate receiving just 33% of what we paid for? What kind of mediocre government are we operating with? What kind of mediocre cabinet are we operating with when we are celebrating mediocrity? When as a leading Caribbean nation, a leading country in CARICOM, we are used to leading the way, but we have been reduced to celebrating such levels of mediocrity. This is absolute nonsense, and this is the height of incompetence and inefficiency and ineffectiveness by this failed, incompetent, minister-led F&M government. We need to vote them out. Thank you for the opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
On the point about again, I just want to say this, like, we've heard very similar things in previous reports. So, I mean, I'm not saying it's something you should pay attention to. Yeah, you should be.
Yep.
The Trump administration, there was a promise made to the Bahamas, Jamaica, the Dominican Republic, and I forget the next nation. Maybe it's Dominica. I'm not 100% sure. The way that we voted in favor of the Trump administration's push against Venezuela, we were to be rewarded, supposedly, right? These are not my words. These are Trump's words. It was OPIC, the OPIC, which was the Overseas Private Investment Corporation, which I think they actually did pay a visit to the Bahamas in sometime in 2019, I think it was, maybe in May 2019. I don't know what's come out of that since, right? Because the whole purpose was there to enhance investment in the Bahamas, which is also something that Trump's ambassador pick, who never made it, Douglas Manchester also made statements about that he supported OPEC's involvement in the Bahamas and been doing renewed investment to compete against Chinese investment. I have not had the chance to read Joe Biden's national security strategy, although in Trump's national security strategy, which brought a lot from Obama's, it did lay out quite clearly the intention to make investments in the Caribbean and South America to combat that of China, so to compete, which did not flesh out the way that it was stated that it would. But it is something I think maybe we should watch in that space. And not necessarily, we shouldn't look at it in the realm of what have you done for me lately in terms of diplomacy, but you should look at it more or less options-wise in terms of how we want to maintain relationships, the types of relationships we want to maintain with our regional partners and global partners as well. That includes China in a binary nature versus as a these set of people versus them set of people. But more or less, we should be more objective and look at it as in like what's in the best interest of the Bahamas and long-term sustainable development for our country versus who gain or free things.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there.
Yep, very true, very true. But we do need a lot of help. And if people are willing to do it, if the price isn't too high, right, and not just in terms of monetary price,
I think
we should do it.
When the global economy starts to turn around a bit, Dwight, that China is going to extend out a new line of credit, which they've already done last year to the Caribbean and South America. It's going to be, considering the fact we're at junk status now, you're going to find that these loans may in fact be at a much better, more competitive interest rate than we can get on the international market. Another thing that's been interesting to pay attention to is that the U.S. national debt is approaching $30 trillion, right? Under the Trump administration, due to decisions of tax cuts, that's shot up, as well as COVID-19 alone in the United States, as late as just for 2020, sort of national debt in the United States raised by $5 trillion. I know what you're wondering. Why does that even matter? Well, since we're having a conversation about national debt and all the countries that have gone under, economists in the United States have now re-evaluated their position on national debt because supposedly some great collapse was supposed to come and it never did. The truth is they have no idea what happens. They're admitting that. I've even seen statements come up by the Federal Reserve on this issue. So I think it's a good thing, not a good thing, but I think it's something that people need to watch. I think it's probably something that we need to dig into in a show. What does that mean? Because the way that national debt to GDP ratios are being calculated now and assessed have changed. And now instead of it being if your debt is higher than your GDP over 100%, you're in approaching the area of debt distress if you're a developing nation. Now it's changing off to the point where if your level of growth does not beat your rise in debt or something like that. It's a whole new equation they're coming up with.
Right.
So, I don't know. It's a very interesting thing to see. It's something I never thought I'd see in my lifetime. The world is changing, and COVID-19 has kind of accelerated that. But it's something we definitely should be paying attention to.
Absolutely. Let's take some more calls, and then we'll get to your messages. Good morning, caller. You're on there.
Good morning, Dwight. Good morning, Don.
Hi.
Yeah, I think our biggest mistake was when Ingram allowed his influence with China to push Taiwan out and basically sold the port to Hutchison Whampoa. I mean, that is another Chinese company, but I think the biggest issue we have right now is the Bahamas government has been operating just like, let me put it bluntly, a prostitute that's being passed around between one John to the next.
Wow.
Because if you look at what China's been doing, especially in the way they maneuver, it seems like their whole plan is to get closer to U.S. assets. And they've been trying to get into Andros for years. And what's in Andros? The RTEC base, which the U.S. government, I guess, produces billions of dollars in sales from their research and all that stuff like that. But if we don't do something about how we prostitute ourselves, so to speak, we will always be in this business where we on our knees with our hands hanging out. I like to listen.
Okay. Well, let's take another call.
The man's got a point. Not 100% on the money, but yeah, you got to be very careful with not just your optics, right? As a nation, you don't want to. I don't know. I think the fair too, Dwight. What his point is, when we say we're on our hands and knees, kinda, is you don't want to be in a situation where it's unpayable simply because you don't make enough money. Because Jamaica was in that position, several African nations, several Asian nations as well. And when you're in a situation of debt distress is when predatory loans tend to fly your country's way. Governments tend to try to find easy ways out of unemployment to get more infrastructure development. This is a situation we saw in Jamaica as well. And companies and countries, not just Chinese, Europeans do it too, but China's been accelerating it where they give you these supposed preferential loans where they say you don't have to pay the money back. But if you default in it, we just take the infrastructure. You still have it in your country, but we own it for so many years.
Right.
And that's what's been happening. So that is the situation we want to avoid. But the unfortunate reality is due to COVID-19 as well as Hurricane Dorian, we are unfortunately on a trajectory to potentially be in a situation of debt distress in a few years. Hopefully that doesn't work out, though. I hope that doesn't happen.
Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, morning, Dwight and Dawn again.
Hi, good morning.
I completely concur with Dawn's sentiment. My thing is that the U.S. is just crying palm out. Right? This is what they've been doing. They've stepped back from doing so, but China's always been the optimist. Right? They take advantage of situations like this. As a country, we must do what's best for us, right? What the U.S. is worried about, and what I'm worried about, is that China will do the exact same thing to the Caribbean what they've done to the Silk Route, whereas they fund these projects, and when these countries can't pay it back, they own the port or the airport for 10 to 15 years. And this is something that we as the people should be worried about. Now, in regards to the multitude of settlements made by Anton a few months ago, in regards to why our government has been unable to broker any type of deal with the U.S. in regards to vaccines and cost testing, the U.S. has made it clear that they are all about country first. Mexico president called them out about that 2 weeks ago, right? About them not being able, or not wanting to currently share resources with other countries that need it. And so we as a country have to go through power, right? Like any other Caribbean country, we don't make vaccines ourselves. Right. So we have to go to the entities that could provide us with said vaccines. Simple. That narrative is just.
Anton is fully aware. I assure you.
But he worries me sometimes.
But everything has to come back to politics, and apparently, I guess he is saying that a different type of administration would have had a better chance. I guess is that what he's suggesting?
Maybe that's what he's saying.
Okay. Yep. We are all worried. Yeah. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right. Let's take this call, and then we're going to take a break. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
If you could permit me just 2 quick points, please, Dwight.
Oh, you're back. Okay.
Yes, 2 quick points. Thank you. Dwight, what the last call is talking is our excuse for the lean performance of this government, especially with a national pandemic that has hurt our economy in ways that we have yet to learn, because this government is not accounted for the spending it is conducted as yet, and it is hiding behind the emergency orders. Justin Trudeau, the Canadian Prime Minister, has been able to successfully negotiate with the new president, Joe Biden, and the United States is providing them with extremely great relief as it relates to their COVID-19 pandemic, as it relates to testing, as it relates to COVID-19 vaccines. Okay, and so if Justin Trudeau was able to find a formula to meet with the United States President and Vice President Kamala Harris and negotiate successfully, why has it been that Dwight Dawn started to touch on it a little bit when he said that President Trump promised to reward us. However, what we saw after that promise was we saw the Prime Minister of the Bahamas in a dark hallway sitting around with Caribbean leaders looking shield picture, which sent terrible optics and made us look like what the caller before last spoke about, prostitutes or Johns that's handing ourselves off to the highest bidder. And finally, by the second point, these persons need to stop making lame excuses for this government and call this government out for the failures, because yes, COVID-19, yes, Dorian was a problem in our country. Yes, COVID-19 created a problem in our country. But if you have a progressive enough government who is not shooting themselves in the foot, who's not looking for excuses to say they can't, then they will find the way and the means, the mindset, and the ingenuity to make it happen on behalf of the Bahamian people, because that's what you were elected for. Solutions, not just prescribing the problems with no solutions. Thank you for the opportunity, man. This is sickening.
Okay. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll get to your text messages. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
step ahead of technology with certainty and support from Custom Computers. Our know-how team is here to help you zero in on your next big tech purchase, finding solutions that take your productivity to the next level using only the best and most reliable brands. With 4 stores all across Nassau on East Bay, West Bay, Old Fort Bay, and Palmdale, there's no stopping you from stepping up your tech. Reach out to us at 396-1100. Find trust in your tech. Count on Custom Computers.
The best place to get a new iPhone is at PTC. Make the iPhone 12 mini yours for just $9. That's big savings to go with our sweet postpaid value of unlimited local calls, international minutes, roaming data and minutes, plus all the data you need. Stream, share, and stay connected on the best LTE network when you switch to PTC. Visit a store to sign up today and get the iPhone 12 mini for just $199. Conditions apply.
Cash is what we have been using for generations, but it's no longer the only way to pay or receive money. That is great news for business owners. I'm Lasagna Mizik, Managing Director at RBC Royal Bank, encouraging you to find out how going cashless can benefit your business with faster transactions and settlements, better cash flow management, plus reduce risk of theft. Learn more at rbc.com/Caribbean/go cashless. RBC Royal Bank. Banking reimagined.
Are you tired of that boring 9-to-5? Do you need a new and exciting career? Visit the Bahamas Technical and Vocational Institute, where your passion can become your profession. Let us introduce you to a career in information technology, cosmetology, construction, office administration, auto mechanics, electronics, and more. Say goodbye to that 9-to-5 and hello to the possibilities. Call us today at 502-6338. Apply by November 16, 2020.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
I don't go in water, I just go to boat fight with somebody's daughter. I like to the love. Yeah. You should know I'm a Bahamian from the Bahamas. It's the place you vacation. Slum domino. If I did it over, I wouldn't change it. 'Cause this is what I love.
We're back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan, along with Don Sargent. We are talking about concerns raised by a U.S. general about China's influence in the country and in the region. Getting your responses to this. Let's read this text message here. Oh, boy. Okay. What did I do? Here's a text. I hope that you enjoyed your Easter break. Okay. If the U.S. is so concerned about their influence and interest in the Bahamas due to China's economic promises and investments, why not do likewise? Didn't their intel reveal that we are in dire need of good treatment? Our proximity to America makes us far more geopolitically valuable to the U.S. than we could ever be to China. Do better. Okay. This text here. We want... what's this now? Okay, that's back to the COVID stuff. All right. Another one here. Somebody with some interesting views on Jesus there. Okay. This one here. Dwight and Don, we need to respond to the U.S. how Pindling responded to Brian Ross. What now? Why? Why would you do that? They're just reporting to themselves what they see. What about it?
The same thing happened. Like I said, in like, was it 2015? Where they did a report on, kind of report or a briefing to Congress. I can't remember the name of the U.S. general that did it. He's supposedly in charge of Northcom or something like that. And he said that it was very concerning at the time. I think it was back in 2012 too. That was the first nation, literally the first country that Xi Jinping, when he became premier, leader, de facto president for life of China, first country he visited was Trinidad. The first region that he toured was the Caribbean. But of the entire world, China visited, the new president, Xi Jinping, visited the Caribbean first, which was a signal to the United States of yada, 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 because we're supposed to be the U.S.'s backyard. I don't think we should take the position of, well, if you see them doing this, but you need to do better too. I think we should see a position of, these are two superpowers that are at odds with one another. We've seen the same thing happen before with the United States and the Soviet Union. I wasn't alive during the Cold War, but I don't think it's going to be the same dynamic as that. It's more or less going to be the competition we saw similar to that between the United States and the UK in the 1800s.
You weren't around for any part of it, Don? Really?
No, I was born in 92.
Oh, my goodness
End
gracious.
of the Cold War.
Wow.
I know, right?
Ugh.
I wasn't there for it, but I'm just saying, like, I don't think we should view it as necessarily U.S. bad, China good, or China bad, U.S. good.
Mm-hmm.
But these nations are barely different from one another, you know. You may look at it and say, well, China surveils its people. Yeah, the United States does the same thing. They also do it to us.
Yep.
Like, we're still the most surveilled nation on earth. Like, a lot of the fingers you can point at China, you can point at the United States. So you shouldn't look at them as one is better than the other.
And there are Bahamians who are concerned about China's growing influence in this country as well.
No, I agree. You
right.
should be. But I'm just saying, you need to look, we should be looking and treating this as both nations, our relations with them should be in some way, form, or function benefiting the sustainability of our country.
Absolutely.
We don't look at them. No one's your friend, you know. The United States doesn't have friends. They have people that are useful to them at a particular point in time that they call allies, right? You never forget the United States was allied with the Soviet Union in the Second World War because it was convenient to do so. And then when things changed and one country changed the opinion of the next, they became enemies. So this ain't friendship and hand-holding and all that stuff. They will cut your throat if the situation calls it necessary. We've seen it happen in the Caribbean time and time again. So again, we should be looking at this as how do we balance these two relations with these two countries that best benefits the Bahamian people in general.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And as I said earlier, right, just ensure that the price that you will pay for whatever, and not just monetary price, is going to be something you can afford to pay, right, whatever the cost will be. But see who can help us. We know we need lots of infrastructure help in this country. Lots, right? There's so many things that we, not just here in New Province, but throughout the entire country.
We need a lot of finance, I think, at the moment. Not just simply just get loans, but I mean, like, we need, once again, to be investing in infrastructure, not just in the province, but also in the Family Islands, particularly Abaco and Grand Bahama. There were promises made by the international community as well as the United Nations in reference to funding that will be made available to the Bahamas in the wake of Hurricane Dorian. Obviously, I think priorities have changed on that in the international community. But no, there is a lot of help this country needs.
Yeah.
So I think any government, whether this government's there within the next 5 years or not, who knows? I don't know. I think this international relations is something we've historically sucked at as a country. If you were to ask yourself, what is the Bahamas' known foreign policy? Can you read any documents on it? They don't exist. Even Jamaica's ahead of us in that department. That's something we've been lacking at for years, but I think it's something we need to think about. Our strategy, our foreign strategies need to coincide with economic development of this country.
All right, let's read a couple messages before we. One says here, tell America stop it. Whatever we get from America, we give right back in imports, education. But China owns hotels, banks, computer companies, food businesses, etc., all over America. So I don't understand the threat because the Chinese are invested all over America. Is that accurate? Okay. Well, I don't know if you're entirely accurate with some of the things you're claiming there, but okay. But they are definitely heavily invested all over China. Okay. Anyway, sure. Let's break for news, and we'll pick this up on the other side. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
I don't want to live nowhere else, even when I did. I's a Bahamian, and I always late. If you want me there by 9, better tell me come 8. See, I's a Bahamian, and I don't like say nobody gonna spend my money when I go to my grave. Yes, I's a Bahamian. Don't want make no fuss, but if you we know, but outside tell it, you we wanna us. Up and go, don't act like you don't know, you know. And you know, oh, how a heathen go. How they go, how they go, how they go. Oh, don't you know? And you know, yes.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
It's Tuesday, April 6th, 2021, and you're listening to the Guardian News Network Morning Report. Hello, everyone. I'm Charlene Ferguson. Thanks for tuning in. Topping the news. As both major political parties ratchet up campaign events in anticipation of a possible early election, PLP leader Philip Davis yesterday cautioned Bahamians to reject the new promises by Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis, whom he accused of failing to fulfill his promises from the previous campaign cycle. As he addressed a crowd of supporters at the opening of his party's Elizabeth constituency office, Davis yesterday argued this country cannot afford another 5 years of F&M governance.
It's the people's time. It's the biggest broken promise in the industry. You remember campaign Minutes? That's the version of Minutes you see when all those red shirts come out. You know the Minutes I'm talking about, right? The Minutes who promised this transparency and accountability. The Minutes who said he put in place a fixed election day. The Minutes who said he was for the poor. Remember him? Well, he's back. Campaign Minutes 2021 edition has all kinds of new promises, even though he's failed to keep his old ones. We can't afford another 5 years of this. We can't afford it, my friends. The middle class in our country is barely holding on. In fact, many have said they've been wiped out. So I want us to work together for change. Let's money and doesn't leave people out. Let's work for a level playing field.
Well, Davis told his supporters that his party has also undergone big change and is now ready to retake the government after a devastating defeat in 2017, which saw the PLP retain only 4 seats in Parliament.
May 10th, 2017 was a horrible day. For that ship we call the SSPLP. It ran aground when there was full steam ahead. They ran on that reef. They said we were so smashed that we not come back. They wrote us off. They condemned the ship to the junkyard. That ship is off that reef. The hull has been repaired. And we are now seaworthy again. And guess what? We are on the sea towards that port of victory. And I can tell you, because I am captaining that ship, they're all on board, making sure that that ship reaches that port of victory.
Well, as the Constituencies Commission considers a recommendation to create 5 new constituencies, Davis says he would support the move to ensure that each constituency has an equal number of voters. Berthany McDermott has that.
PLP leader Philip Davis says there has to be some altering of some constituencies ahead of the next general election to achieve voter parity, as the Constitution requires. His comments come days after Boundaries Commission Chairman Halson Moultrie said the Commission is considering recommending up to 5 additional seats to be contested in the next election.
I don't know on whose authority the Speaker is making those observations, but we do know that there has to be there ought to be some redistriction to conform with what our constitutional mandate is.
The constituencies that could end up looking like Killarney and Golden Isles, which are the largest constituencies on New Providence, and Baines and Grantstown. On Grand Bahama, Moultrie said East Grand Bahama could see a change. However, he admitted that the decision ultimately lies in the hands of the Prime Minister, Dr. Hubert Minnis, who previously indicated that boundaries won't change.
He has the ultimate say on how the redistribution will be. So if he says that he's not going to, we'll have to wait to see what the recommendations are first on the Commission, then see how he either alters and or reject or accept what they will.
Moultrie said the goal is to have 5,000 voters in each constituency where possible. However, no matter what the boundaries may look like in the next election, Davis expressed confidence that it won't affect the PLP's chance of winning.
No, not at all, because as I've always said, lines don't change minds. And I think the mindset of the Bahamian people is that they are with us, and wherever you put them, they'll stay with us.
Reporting for the Guardian News Network, I'm Berthany McDermott.
The Cabinet Office has confirmed that Defense Force Commander Commodore Raymond King is now being quarantined at home after being 19. The force's medical officer, Dr. Derwin Johnson, says King underwent a rapid antigen test on Saturday after experiencing mild respiratory symptoms, and that based on those results and out of an abundance of caution, he was quarantined and is awaiting an RT-PCR test to confirm his COVID status. We're told immediate members of his staff have also been quarantined while office spaces are sanitized. Dr. Johnson confirmed there are about 10 known active COVID-19 cases within the force right now, and that cases have been on the rise there, as is the case within the general public. There were 613 new cases of COVID-19 reported in March, nearly double the recorded cases in February. Meantime, COVID vaccinations will remain on hold until Wednesday of this week here in New Providence and Grand Bahama. The Vaccine Consultative Committee saying their program will resume at Loyola Hall, the Church of God of Prophecy, and the Susan J. Wallace Community Center tomorrow for healthcare workers, persons 60 years of age and older, and members of the uniformed branches only. Well, a dispute over a game of dominoes turned deadly for one man over the Easter holiday. Jared Higgs has the details.
According to police, it was around noon on Easter Sunday when the domino game was being played on Nassau Street. That's when the attacker walked up and fired a weapon at the victim.
Nice cousin to me. Anything I needed, and he have it, he'll give it to me. Anything he wanted and I have it, I'll give it to him.
Family members tell Our News the victim is 51-year-old Anthony Tyrone Roll. After he was shot, he was taken to hospital, but died after being in surgery for about 5 hours. His cousin, 42, used to work with each other years ago and often played dominoes together under the tree where Roll was killed.
He used to be out here cleaning cars when I was 16. He showed me how to clean a car. He taught me how to clean a car. Right? Anthony was all right.
The grieving cousin says the domino table under the tree was a regular hangout spot for Roll, who he says was the type of person to keep to himself.
Just sit down, play dominoes, and just talking of fun. But no one.
Reporting for the Guardian News Network, I'm Jared Higgs.
Stay with us. There's more news after the break.
Jada, jump in the car. Hey girl, your new ride looking good. Yeah, it was rough. No one wanted to insure me as a new driver, and cause I young. Thank goodness Jason told me about Shield Insurance right there across from the police college on Thompson Boulevard. Shield hooked me up with one solid policy at a decent price, minus the shade. Them other companies was joking.
Well, I'm glad you get straight. Call Shield Insurance in Nassau or Freeport. They've got you covered.
Shield Insurance Agents and Brokers.
At Apex Award Signs and Engraving, the name says it all. The country's trusted name for trophies, plaques, corporate seals, rubber stamps, badges, bumper stickers, traffic and street signs, keychains, t-shirts, interior signs, restaurant menus, and so much more. Apex Award Signs and Engraving, number 128 Mount Royal Avenue in Wilton Street. Open 9 to 5 Monday to Friday and 9 to 1 on Saturdays. Visit the website at apexawardsbahamas.com. Apex Award Signs and Engraving, number 1 in the Bahamas.
Let me talk about patio stones. There's patio stones, and then there are the most creative patio stones ever designed in the Bahamas that you'll only find interlocking patio stones. They ain't new. It's the creativity that goes into them that makes them different. Pinda Tiles Fish interlocking patio stones are a designer's dream that can be used in a number of settings. The stones are 2 inches thick and come in 3 colors, white, gray, and beige. If you'd like your garden to be different, have a look at the Fish interlocking patio stones at Pinda Tile. And while there, check out the retaining wall bricks that are ideal for gardens. Pinda Tile on Prince Charles Drive.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Cancer is smart. It pushes us. We push back, challenging conventional thinking, finding smarter solutions. That's what makes Cancer Treatment Centers of America one of the leaders in precision cancer treatment, using tools like advanced genomic testing and immunotherapy to bring more options to our patients. Cancer Treatment Centers of America. We're not just fighting cancer anymore. We're outsmarting it. Visit cancercenter.com/outsmart to learn more.
Comfort Suites Paradise Island is the best kept secret in the Bahamas.
Located directly next door to the Atlantis Resort, you'll receive all the privileges of an Atlantis guest with all the benefits of a Comfort Suite stay. Enjoy everything Atlantis has to offer, including Aquaventure Water Park, plus all the amenities of Comfort Suites. Free Wi-Fi, free breakfast daily, and kids stay, play, and eat free. Visit ComfortSuitesPI.com.
Welcome back. Due to the pandemic has forced the Humane Society to take the extraordinary measure of airlifting some animals abroad for care. Berthany McDermott explains.
Within 6 months, the Bahamas Humane Society conducted 3 airlifts transporting around 500 cats and dogs to Canada and the United States. According to Assistant Shelter Manager Peter Feldman, the shelter was inundated with pets.
We were hoping it would be empty and we would have a little bit of a chance to do some repairs and everything else, but absolutely not. 2 days after our lift, we started getting inundated with puppies and people who, especially through COVID, cannot afford to keep their dogs. And as much as we do have a food bank and we do try and support a lot of people out there, there's a lot of people just can't keep their dogs and their cats. So we just got a huge influx.
The airlifts, according to Feldman, helped to ease the burden on the shelter. He said the most recent airlift to Nova Scotia, which transported more than 200 cats and some 72 dogs, came at a cost of $50,000.
And it's not just the flight, you have to understand. Is we have to buy the carriers to ship the dogs in. It is getting the dogs ready to make sure they're on heart guard, so they all need medication. Some dogs need to be spay and neutered because in Canada and the States, they will not take a dog if it's not spay or neutered.
Feldman stressed that it's an ongoing battle for the society. He said the facility has seen a significant increase in occupancy since the pandemic, noting that many found themselves unable to take care of their pets during the pandemic.
And it's difficult. There was a lot of people who had 4 or 5 animals and were working and, could manage them. But again, with that, not only the dog food, but the heart guard and all the things you need to keep your animals safe and protected, they cost money, a lot of money. And so all of a sudden, people could not afford them anymore.
Feldman said there are more than 100 at the shelter. He advised pet owners to get their pets spayed and neutered, a service the Humane Society offers. Reporting for the Guardian News Network, I'm Berthany McDermott.
Well, that's going to do it for local news. Stay with us. AP News is next.
Introducing the new Slices and Sticks from Little Caesars, an unexpected combination. 4 slices of pepperoni pizza, 8 Italian cheese sticks, and 1 crazy sauce, only for $9. Didn't expect that one, right? Grab the new Slices and Sticks at Little Caesars Oaksfield, Carmichael Road, or East Street South in the Pineapple Plaza. That's 4 slices of pepperoni pizza, 8 Italian cheese sticks, and 1 crazy sauce, all for only $9. And only at Little Caesars.
Pizza.
At Master Technicians, we have what your family traditions need, starting with industry-best refrigerators, ranges, and ovens. We also carry Whirlpool washer and dryers, dishwashers and freezers, leading KitchenAid countertop appliances, blenders, microwaves, juicers, kettles, and KitchenAid stand mixers. We even do free delivery in New Providence or to the boat of your choice. Whether you're doing the laundry, kitchen, or spending family time in front of the television, Master Technicians Limited, keeping family traditions alive for more than 50 years.
Reggie gone to Sunrise one day and tell Miss Wallace, I need a band for my watch, please. Miss Wallace say, Reginald, do have a seat and we'll be with you in a minute. He say, well, you just suffer from this two-way. She say, suffer from what? He say, this. She say, oh, that. Well, I tries to tailor make my services them to fit the needs of all of my customers. Reggie get excited. He say, that's amazing. I get a couple of more watches. I can bring them to you to more. She say, more. He say, yeah. She say, Reggie, I'll be here from 9 o'clock in the morning.
Sun Isles Watch and Clock, number 112 Montrose Avenue. Watch and clock sales and repairs for over 40 years.
Gran, it was good to see you, but we've got to get home.
Yep, we've got to let the dog out.
Speaking of dogs, you won't believe who I saw the other day.
Who?
Honey.
Remember Anton, Jeanette's oldest boy? The one with the dogs.
With local claims managers, we pay your motor claims fast. We're like a goodbye at your granny's that doesn't take 30 minutes.
We really got to get going.
So soon?
CG Atlantic Agents. Insurance, health, pensions, life. Good like that. Nassau Insurance Brokers and Agents Limited Trade.
It's got easier with the Alive Corporate Business Plan. Check your messages, check on the staff, or simply keep your emails in check.
When traveling on business, you'll have the confidence in managing your office, staying in touch with your team, vendors, and customers. You can roam like you've never left your office with the all-new suite of Alive Liberty Executive Plans. For more information, contact the experts at Cable Bahamas Business Solutions. Call 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands today.
While 100,000 Bahamians need food assistance and thousands are out of work due to COVID, the government hired an expensive British QC, making thousands of dollars an hour, to fight against their own people and defend foreigners trying to get rich off our soil. We get jammed twice. Which politicians are benefiting from the BPC oil deal? Sign the petition today at stopbahamasoildrilling.com. Hashtag no drill, no spill.
This traffic report brought to you by Shield.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. Also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at MorningBlend969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us 422-4796. And now at 8:18, it is time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. Here's what's happening. We've got high pressure just north of the area. That's going to continue to produce mostly dry and stable conditions across the country today. Beachgoers in the central and southeast Bahamas should exercise caution due to the risk of rip currents at north and east coast beaches. For all areas today, look for partly mostly sunny and warm conditions with breezy as well, a bit breezy, with a chance of isolated showers, mainly in the central and southeast Bahamas, mostly fair and mild tonight. A small craft caution will come into effect, or remains in effect, for the central and southeast Bahamas. Temperature-wise, we are getting close to 70 right now in Nassau under partly cloudy skies. Look for highs getting up to around 81 Fahrenheit, 27 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 61 Fahrenheit, 16 Celsius. In your extended outlook, high pressure will persist across the area into the weekend. So for Wednesday, tomorrow, look for mostly sunny and warm conditions. Thursday, mostly sunny and warm, but a bit breezy in the southeast Bahamas. That's your Morning Blend weather check, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. What's first for you comes first for us. And 8:19, time for another check of your traffic for today, brought to you by RBC Royal Bank. It looks like some people have decided to sleep in or just aren't going to work today because we're not seeing the level of traffic we would normally see at this hour. Even on Smile Butler Highway, just going to be a bit more traffic as you get closer to the roundabout with Tawny Williams Darling Highway, but otherwise not looking bad at all in the northbound lanes. Glaston Road, similar, just more traffic as you get closer to JFK Drive if you're in that northbound lane this morning. Elsewhere, we've got a bit of traffic just north of Soldier Road on Blue Hill Road, northbound lanes, heading towards Independence Drive, and on Independence Drive as you get closer to East Street. In fact, that's your hottest spot this morning. Independence Drive and East Street near that roundabout. So East Street, northbound lanes mainly from south of Robinson Road between Soldier Road, but also southbound from south of that Independence Drive roundabout. And just pockets along Prince Charles Drive at major intersections and along Wolf Road at major intersections. That's what we're seeing so far this morning. That's your real-time traffic and your Morning Blend traffic alert brought to you by RBC Royal Bank.
Comfort Suites Paradise Island is the best kept secret in the Bahamas. Located directly next door to the Atlantis Resort, you'll receive all the privileges of an Atlantis guest with all the benefits of a Comfort Suite stay. Enjoy everything Atlantis has to offer, including Aquaventure Water Park, plus all the amenities of Comfort Suites. Free Wi-Fi, free breakfast daily, and kids stay, play, and eat free. Visit ComfortSuitesPI.com.
Gran, it was good to see you, but we've got to get... Speaking of dogs, you won't believe who I saw the other day. Who?
Honey.
Remember Anton, Jeanette's oldest boy? The one with the dogs.
With local claims managers, we pay your motor claims fast. We're like a goodbye at your granny's that doesn't take 30 minutes.
We really got to get going.
So soon?
CG Atlantic Agents. Insurance, health, pensions, life. Good like that. Nassau Insurance Brokers and Agents Limited, trading as CG Atlantic Agents.
Roaming just got easier. Say hello to more with our new Liberty Prime plan. With more minutes, more texts, and more data to do the things you love right here at home and even when you travel. With the all-new Liberty Prime, Liberty Premium, and Liberty Elite, you've got one less worry. Roam again. Alive. Believe in best. Believe in best.
You invest in your children, your home, and your community. But are you investing in your financial future? At CFAL, we specialize in investment management, retirement planning, mutual funds, and private wealth management. Our team of experts never stops helping you plan for tomorrow. Because tomorrow begins today. Call us at 502-7010 to see what our financial advisors can do for you. CFAL. Growing wealth for future generations.
Cash is what we have been using for generations, but it's no longer the only way to pay or receive money. That is great news for business owners. Managing Director at RBC Royal Bank, encouraging you to find out how going cashless can benefit your business with faster transactions and settlements, better cash flow management, plus reduce risk of theft. Learn more at rbc.com/Caribbean/go cashless. RBC Royal Bank. Banking reimagined.
Imagine. That's where every advancement begins, with an idea that things can be different, better, now. Imagine a world where your entertainment experience was all about you, your style, your show, at your budget. At Rev, that's what we've imagined. To join the conversation and learn more about the future of Rev TV, visit us at rev.bs/imagine.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
As I stand here contemplating on the right thing to decide, will I take the wrong direction? All my life, where will I go? What lies ahead of me? I have strong determination, and I'm not afraid of change. I have yet to find that someone who is cares for me, to stay right by me. Oh, who can I run to? Who can I run to share this empty space? Tell me, who can I run to when I need love? Who can I run to? Who can I run to fill this empty space with laughter? Who can I run to when I need love?
We're back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Don Sargent. That's the Bahamas there singing that song. Who will the Bahamas run to? Will it be China? Will it be the U.S.? That song coming in from our recommendation from one of our listeners. Sean, thank you for that very much. Appreciate it. All right, so we are getting a reaction to this. Again, this is not news. This has been talked about in many circles for quite a few years now, but it's come up again recently, and about China's influence in the region, especially here in the Bahamas and the U.S., and their concerns about this. All right, so here's some interesting here. China has never blacklisted the Bahamas. America gives tourism warnings instead of helping with crime. Okay. No American president has visited officially since Kennedy. Chinese officials have been here recently. America needs to do better. Some of that was interesting. And we definitely haven't had an ambassador for a very long time, a U.S. ambassador. But you'd want America to help with the crime problems here? Yeah? Really? What would you want to see? What type of things? Tell us more. Tell us more. Yeah. This one here says, with all of our natural resources, why are we so in debt? Decades of visionless leadership and corruption. Name a few things our new Minister of Foreign Affairs has done. Exactly nothing. Okay. Don, somebody's here surprised the year you were born. Yeah, he's pretty young. Yeah. Give us a call. 323-6... Sorry?
Okay.
What was that? You're breaking up there.
No, I'm sorry. I was saying I thought I was a little old on the old side.
Oh yeah, no. Not. I'm surprised. I thought maybe even the end of the Cold War you'd have been no. But okay. Wow. 323-6232, 325-4316. 325-422-479-6. That is interesting, the texter about not being blacklisted, and yeah, Europe and the USA just love to blacklist us in this region, don't they? And China wants to help. Okay. I've got some other messages here. This is a good one before we take those calls. Rather than be offended by this report, what we need to do is look at the truth of it and be concerned about our mounting debt and our ability to meet our financial obligations. What are our strategic plans to increase revenue and continue to meet our commitments? We always seem to get offended by facts. Why are we always looking for someone to come and rescue us? Yeah, it's a good question. Another one here. The U.S. could have created an entire city in Andros around the Autec base, but they have chosen not to. And on the COVID response, the only G10 countries that have not had criticism on their COVID response, the only countries have been China, Russia, and Japan. The world has not been able to manage this pandemic. We can criticize, but let's make suggestions at the same time. And even Japan is having many issues as well. Right? Still not clear whether they will be able to do the Olympics. So everybody's got major challenges, and I don't think anyone believes what Russia tells them. So who knows what's going on over there? Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning. Good morning to you, Dwight, and your co-host in the Wider Bahamas.
Morning.
Johnson. Yeah. Let's first say that, we don't have a foreign policy. We have basically individuals, family, friends, lovers, influencers that we appoint to go internationally and sit at the high chair of finance for photo opportunities. I have a strategy for our geolocation, considering that we are the third border of the most powerful nation on earth, considering that we are geopolitically located for a unique opportunity, knowing exactly where we play in the international global commerce towards the America. We have basically become a beggar nation. What we do is we sit around begging for trinkets, even from the United States. Small boats, a little armor here, a little bit here, whatever, until we could actually develop a strategy even for ourselves. Take, for instance, you have the Treasury Secretary, Janet Yellen, that is basically beginning to make an argument to change the dynamics of our very existence within our financial services and the banking industry. We don't have a response to that they have a global minimum tax rate. And believe it or not, it's going to be pushed aggressively. And so the question is, what do we want for ourselves before we could even have a discussion as to what we want from others? The problem is that the world has shifted. The new president has set a benchmark of continuing the fight for digital supremacy, meaning that the way things we do has been changed. In case we haven't noticed, over the last 12 months, the world has changed. The way we think, the way we do things, the way we communicate. Just the new social order has taken effect. But we are still seeking to bring back our past, to redecorate our old economic models. And so until we have a greater discussion, look at what we're talking for from politics. We're talking about who's going to give out the most breakfast tomorrow, who's going to clean up the most neighborhoods, who's going to do whatever. We're not having real conversation, but we want to be taking real-world governance.
Right.
And so until we decide what we want, until we decide the sovereign identity that we want to be perceived as, what you expect from people, if you were a Wall Street executive, would you go downstairs to somebody standing with a pan outside your office, begging to have real conversations with them concerning about economics and anything else? You don't.
You know the answer to that one.
So we just need to change how we want to be perceived. And, just use an example. The new president came in. He picked up the phone and called his border nation, Mexico. He called his border nation, Canada. And he called everywhere around the world, but we didn't hear that the president called the third border of his country, which serves an integral part of their security from a geopolitical. Because why? We have made ourselves irrelevant in any discussions because we are who we perceive us to be. And so until we change who we are and create real policy, right about now, but we're 50 years old and we don't have a real foreign service. We have people, who brings no value. Hundreds of millions of dollars we've spent sending them off. Have you ever heard of a major business coming back here? We have foreigners that come here and tell us what's good for us. You have the cruise ship telling us what's good for us. We have everybody telling us what's good for us. And so again, we'll be sitting around saying, I wonder if America is going to tell us what's good for us. Well, let's just stand up and be men and women, and get some testicular fortitude or ovarian audacity and go into the world and make our place.
Okay. Interesting points. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Yeah. The previous texter made a good point. Right? No U.S. president's been here since the 60s. That's, again, we don't even have an ambassador. Right? That shows you the priorities. Let's take this call. Good morning, call. You're on the air.
Point.
Yep. Caller, good morning. You're on.
Morning, gents. How you all?
Doing well.
Happy Easter to you both.
Yeah, same to you.
With the crime problem, America can't have this because they have much more crime than this, especially murders. Sometimes they have 50, 60 people get killed one time.
Well, we have to do this on our own.
Especially murders.
Yeah, we have to do this on our own. And right? There's no reason why we can't get a handle on what we're facing here. And so I'm not sure what the texter is talking about, but we have to have the will to fix that. And I don't think we do. We clearly don't.
Now, the prime minister said he's for hanging. If he's serious about that, he'll come to this and have a referendum. If he's serious.
Well, okay. I mean, I guess what's going to be the referendum? What's the referendum for?
Let the folks decide. Whether we should keep the preconcept or use the highest court right here.
Okay, I mean, we're blaming the Privy Council for this, but if we wanted it, we could do it.
Yeah, right.
It has nothing to do with them.
As far as I can say, no government had the will. The last thing we had was on the missing room. You remember that?
I do.
Hmm?
I do remember, yes.
Thanks for taking my call. And you have a blessed and safe day.
You too. Thank you very much.
All right.
All right. Uh-huh. Okay.
That's a good question. Do we actually want to do that? When I say we, those who are in the positions are legislators, right? Are they even interested in that? It's a real question.
Which one?
Because everybody likes to talk about it, right? But then when it's actually time to, execute, which is probably a very poor choice of words, maybe. But it's time to do something, right? If you have an opportunity to change the law, in reference to this, I just see no movement.
What are you talking about? Capital punishment? You're talking about capital punishment, or
yeah, they
okay.
campaign on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, it's more of the promises they make. Nobody seems to. They tell you these things because they believe some of the voters want to hear that. Some do, and that's what they'll say. They'll say anything to get you to vote. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Glenn. How are you, sir?
Doing well.
Wonderful. I wish to concur and agree with C. Allen earlier. With many things that he have said, I don't wish to reiterate it, but I do concur with him. As a people and a voter in the inner city, we need an administration, a serious one, to go to Washington. And matter of fact, we have a Chinese ambassador. Okay, we don't have a Washington ambassador.
No.
It seems as if we were in this position of want, and then when we get it, we don't know what we want. Okay, so we have got to tell ourselves, find it and know it. I'm inside the inner city. I'm tired of paying these fellas all this money in Parliament. Okay, and then when you get it, they ain't know what they're doing. They don't know what they want. Okay. They are two superpowers that is just want to come to our aid, but we need that firm foundation, that fruition. By the grace of God, man, I've been praying a little while, okay, and I hope they find it, okay. This time we are headed into our jubilee year, okay. 50 years, come on, man. When let me say something. Are you 50 yet?
No.
Okay. Well, I was 50. At 50, I knew what I wanted. I worked toward it, and I achieved it. As a country, man, come on, Lyndon Penn expected more of this out of us. Cecil Wallace Whitfield expected more of this out of us.
Yep.
Okay? Dr. Minnis got to do something because somehow I think he lost himself on the way, man. But by the grace of God, I'm still praying.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Keep praying.
Right.
Thank you very much. I think we all expected we'd be a lot further along than where we are right now, heading towards 50. We're thinking much more. Boy. Let's take another call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Morning, Dwight. How you doing?
Doing well.
And good morning to my good friend, your co-host. Dwight, very quickly here, I'm happy to hear that the Bahamian people are using the 50 years as a benchmark to where this country is in relation to how we began and where we are today. To put this quite simply, 50 years of rules, of laws, rules, and regulations, and the country is where it is today. I see the dispensary of our laws and rules are not equal across the board. We've seen high levels of not just white-collar crimes, but blue-collar crimes. But a lot of our people, especially on the lower tier, we are penalized more, whereas even the white-collar, the higher-level crimes are not really, persons put before the courts in a manner that they would like to put the average Bahamian before the courts. Goes on this one very pivotal point. And that point would be, we have enough laws in this country to cover the next 3 lifetimes. If you're going to enforce the laws on the low people, you need to enforce them straight across the board, regardless of social status or wealth, financial wealth. This is why I think the Bahamian people are really crying out, because we see the disparity across the board. So I think it's being this one or a new one. Really ensure that the laws that's on the books, the Constitution that we have, is upgraded to those where we can use them in this country effectively for this time and not 1967 or pre-1967. And thank you for taking my call this morning.
Okay, thank you very much. And one final call, and then we're going to take a break. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning. How are you, sir?
Doing well.
Not bad. But sir, you know, I listened to C. Allen just now, right? You talk about Janet Yellen and this global minimum tax thing, right? But here in the Bahamas, we can't get the tax thing right. You see, apparently, it appears to me that he's trying to protect this tax haven that we're in, right? And then earlier, Anton talked about the PLP being progressive. I don't see where they're progressive. You see, every time you accuse the PLP of being conservative, someone would call and say they're liberal. How is liberal being liberal? Being liberal is not being progressive. You see, being progressive government does income tax. Progressive government does a livable minimum wage. Like in the UK, they do a livable minimum wage, not that political thing they call livable wage that doesn't help the poor people. You see, I'm in a QC class group, right? They don't want income tax. They don't want a livable wage for poor people. You see, they feel like because they got these stories from poverty to wealth that everybody have that access to it. You know, they're like one horse. You see, and we in a class warfare in this country, and poor people need to find a party that's going to address their needs and we'll get that block. We'll wear the block. Thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot. Some text messages as we go to the break. Somebody says here, black countries are always being bullied by the IMF. Okay. Another one here, asking about the ambassador. Why don't we have a U.S. ambassador? Another one, if they think China wants to help, just look at Tiananmen Square and Hong Kong, and you'll see the true face of China. Well, okay, well, that's what they're doing with their people, but okay. And another one here, America can help us much more, Dwight. If they can collect every text and call for years, they can give us an awesome surveillance system, especially downtown Nassau. They are great at building prisons and executing murderers. They can assist in. They can even help us with lethal injections. China. I don't want to continue reading your text. I really can't. Oh my gosh.
I'm starting to wonder what are we asking?
I don't know
for?
what's going on here. Bahamians, you can do all of these if that's what you want, which is quite, I don't know what's going on, why you want that. But if those are the things you want, you can easily do it. You don't need anybody's help with those things, right? As we said earlier, you just need the will to do it and stop playing around, right? We don't need help with that. I don't know if you're being sarcastic. But those things, if you can't do it, that's what Seattle is talking about. That's why nobody has any respect for you outside of our borders, right? Because y'all are joking around, clearly. Anyway, we're going to take a break and be back with more. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
You value every dollar, and now your dollar has stronger value with BTC's new $1 talk plans. Say hello to Dollar Holla deals. Talk away for just $1 a day with the 1-day talk, 30 minutes of talk time to use when you need it. Or the $3 3-day talk plan with 90 minutes of talk time and free WhatsApp text. Your dollar has stronger value with BTC's Dollar Holla deals. Activate and talk away for just $1 a day. Conditions apply.
Gran, it was good to see you, but we've got to get home.
Yep, we've got to let the dog out.
Speaking of dogs, you won't believe who I saw the other day.
Who?
Honey.
Remember Anton, Jeanette's oldest boy, the one with the dogs?
With local claims managers, we pay your motor claims fast. We're like a goodbye at your granny's that doesn't take 30 minutes.
We really got to get going.
So soon?
CG Atlantic Agents. Insurance, health, pensions, life. Good like that. Nassau Insurance Brokers and Agents Limited, trading as CG Atlantic Agents.
There's only one way to have a better morning. How? Start your mornings the best way with our 2 for $6 breakfast sandwiches at Wendy's. For a limited time, choose any 2 of your favorite breakfast sandwiches, including the fresh Strachan sack muffin, honey buttermilk chicken biscuit, double sausage muffin, or the sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit. Wash it all down with our cold brew shake or coffee. Better mornings always start at Wendy's. Wendy's, different inside and out. Excludes airport locations.
Hello, sir. Your credit card bill is due. Hello, sir. It's time for your monthly loan payment. Tired of creditors pounding at your door? Sign up for a debt consolidation loan from Fidelity Bank and consolidate your debt into one low monthly payment. What's more, you'll also earn interest on a built-in savings account. The pandemic has curbed help regain your financial freedom. Visit a branch or speak to Fidelity Bank at 356-7764. COVID safety measures in place at all branches. Fidelity, we're good for you.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Set, go! Hey, this is your boy Casey, 2008 Break and Scrape style. Hi! Let's go! I need a phone card. I need a phone card.
We're back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Don Sargent. And we're changing gears now, talking about something exciting that Samsung has to announce. We're very pleased to welcome to the show Product Manager at Samsung Electronics, Gianmarco Larry. Gianmarco Larry.
Yes, hello.
Good morning.
How are you?
Doing well. Great to have you with us.
Thank you, man. Wonderful to be talking again to the wonderful place like Bahamas.
Wonderful stuff. All right, so this is exciting. What do you have for us today? What is Samsung announcing this morning?
Oh man, well, of course, we're very proud and we're very excited to be launching our S21 series in Bahamas April 9th. At a series that comes with 3 different phones: the S21 Ultra, S21 Plus, and S21. So, it's our newest, like a new baby, so we're super excited.
All right, so what's new and different with the S21 series?
Okay, so the S21 series, we basically learned everything that we went through on last year. It was a very turmoil year for everyone. Try to see what people were doing, what people were getting more into. And as all of you may know, the S series is more focused on the camera, but this time we made it also a huge changes on the camera, huge changes on the power of the phone. It's the first time that we're rolling out or launching a phone that is 5G ready. The whole lineup doesn't mean that Bahamas is ready for 5G, but it's the first time that Samsung is doing it. A phone with a 5 nano chip, a huge and fast and powerful processor, all-day battery. The S21 Ultra has 5 cameras in total, 4 cameras in the back, and 1 camera in the back, having 108 megapixels with 100 times zoom. If you have played with that 100 times zoom with the S20 Ultra, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We added another stabilizer to the camera. For the first time ever, we're putting an S Pen, which is a note feature on the S21 Ultra only, giving that ultra meaning, that best on the market that you can buy meaning on our phone. So a lot of new features. It's a brand new phone.
My goodness, 5 cameras. Oh, so
yes,
that's outrageous. Okay, so let's talk about how, for somebody who might have an older phone from even a couple of years ago, the types of differences that you would see with the new S21 series compared to a 2 or 3 year old phone.
Oh man, it's it's night and day. It's night and day, right? Definitely. If you want, let's talk about from the top of the lineup to the bottom of the lineup. So with the S21 Ultra, like I said, you will have a bunch of new features inside the phone called Director's View. For example, there's a feature where you can be, let's say you're recording a music video of 3 persons singing, and you're switching the camera to their faces, the angles, and everything without stopping the camera. Basically, a director's view, exactly like it means. We also have blogger's view, is my favorite. In this past year, a lot of people turning to blogging and uploading stuff to their channels, YouTube channels, Facebook. So in this blogging mode, you can be recording yourself while looking what's behind you, right? So it's a perfect feature for those persons to record and upload their content right away. We also have single take Single take is a feature where you record a video for 15 seconds and the phone produces over 10 images and 5 videos for you to choose from with different black and white, slow-mo video, a bunch of features on the phone instead of going scrolling one for one, and you just choose the best one and upload it. Those are huge differences on features than what you might experience before. The phones are all-day battery. What else? They have 120 hertz refresh rate. 120 hertz refresh rate means 120 blinks per second. So very, very quick. For those gamers out there, you have a game-winning performance phone who has a game booster, meaning that the phone doesn't get hot and you don't lag when you're playing your games. We have partnerships with Microsoft and Xbox, over 110 games on the cloud. I mean, I can keep going on and on.
That's wild.
The whole day, but a bunch of new features.
Yeah, and I've seen the ads that talk about movie quality when you record a video.
You have 8K recording on all three phones,
8K.
and then you have a permanent 4K recording. Right. Yeah, 4K recording on all the cameras on the S21 Ultra. So if you want to record high quality videos, this is your phone. For everybody out there uploading content to their YouTube channels and want the best quality, this is it.
Wow. All right. So we've seen some of the ads, and the colors of the phones are themselves quite attractive. That violet one is very special. Let's talk about that and the different models, the available colors, and some of the other features that are going to be seen on this series.
Yes. So I believe the available colors in the Bahamas are going to be the black color and the gray color for all the lineups. They'll come with those limited colors. The colors are chosen by the carrier, of course, and
that's what they picked.
Deliver.
Oh my goodness! Okay.
Yeah.
What's that all about? Okay. All right. So black and that's still very nice. Still very nice. All right. So let's talk about the sizes. And you said there's different series. So there's going to be the Ultra is bigger.
So we have S21 Ultra 6.8. Then a little difference on the S21 Plus at 6.7, and then 6.2 in the S21. So 3 different sizes, but the screens on the Mate are different. Make, and the other ones have a flat make. The Ultra is a metal finish, and the other ones have a polycarbonate finish. But all of them have Gorilla Glass Victus, which is the strongest glass in the market. We have tested this phone, dropping it from over 2 meters to different surfaces, so the phone doesn't break. If you have any experience with a Samsung phone, you know they're very, very hard to get scratched and break. And of course, the phones have IP68, which has scratch resistance and water resistance. So your phone gets wet, it doesn't get damaged. So those features we have been putting them on and getting them better for a while in every launch. And of course, with the S21 on a flagship, it's no different.
Right. So what about the costs? What are we looking at here? Do you have say in that, or is that up to the carrier?
I have no say in that. Okay. That's up to the carrier.
Okay. But you say it's launching this week.
This launching on April 9th. In April 9th, you will have an offer with Buds Pro, the newest buds, the ear sets, and also Smart Tag, which is something that we're launching with the S21. So to explain a little bit what Smart Tag is, let's say you have a pet and your pet usually gets lost. You put the Smart Tag on the collar, and through your phone, you can track it. Of course, tag on whatever you want, on your wallet, etc. I'm pretty sure people can use their imaginations. But yeah, April 9th, you have a nice bundle when you purchase the S21. So take advantage, definitely.
That is wonderful stuff. All right, so we're getting some questions here. This is interesting. I don't know if you can answer this one, but why has Samsung done away with the SD card slot with this series?
So with the expandable memory, for the first time we launched a full lineup with expandable memory, but we have been hinting from before. If you guys remember on the Note 10, the Note 10 Plus had micro SD external memory. The Note 10 didn't have it, The Note 20, the Note 20 Ultra had it, and the Note 20 didn't have it. So we were kind of playing around, trying to signal what we were trying to do. We believe that our phones have enough memory and power for everybody to use. Of course, if you need more, to save more, and you're recording videos on 8K constantly, you have a cloud where you can put your stuff in. So the phones you have other options other than expandable memory. But yes, it is the first time we're launching a full lineup of phones without expandable memory.
Wow. Okay. This one here, we do get these messages wondering what these are about. We get messages from people claiming to be from Samsung on our phones about winnings, large sums of money. What is that, spam, or do you know what that is? Do you have any idea what's going on there?
Yeah, that's a spam.
Yeah,
100%.
All right. They target Samsung, claim to be from Samsung.
That is not Samsung.
So don't open that.
Your,
it's not from Samsung.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, folks. You heard it there. They are not doing that. All right. Great. So what's going to be available? Do you April 9th, all the sizes, or is it just going to be a few in the series?
Yeah, I believe BTC has all the sizes, and BLI has the S21 Plus and S21. So the difference by carrier. But yeah, I believe all the sizes will be available in Bahamas per se.
Wonderful stuff. All right. So this sounds like we are reaching the point where the phones are going to be able to microwave food. So can things get any better after this? Like, this seems like this is the best it could ever be. No?
Man, I asked, I've been for over 3 years in the company, and I've asked myself that every single launch, and there's always something better. We strive, and we want to believe that we're a company who always is challenging technology to put the best technology out there in the market. First ones to have 5G phones marketed, 5G ready marketed. First ones to have foldable phones. First ones to have IP68. So we're always trying to push and trying to see what people really need, especially, and have the best technology out there so we can give them something new. It's something that Samsung works year in, year out. These phones are amazing, man. If people don't know that with these phones you can create Excel, PowerPoint, you can scan documents and send them in PDF. So for working, you can multitask in the phone. You can be sending a text message, and what you can do so many things with this phone. It's like a computer in your hand. It has a 5 nano chipset. If you guys know about chipsets, that is huge to have on a phone. So we're really pushing the boundaries on every aspect of the phone, every year. And I think this year with the S21, we really outdid ourselves, especially launching it so quick after last year. Last year was a very difficult year for everyone.
Yeah.
So we will keep striving for the best innovation and technology, and of course, bringing it to the Bahamas, which is a very important market for Samsung. And we really hope, and that you guys are excited and really like this new lineup that we're launching there.
Wow. All right. So we only have a couple minutes left, but 5G, very exciting. We don't have it here yet, but there are, I'm sure you know about this, some people who have some concerns about 5G. But what would you want to tell people about 5G and the excitement that a 5G network and a 5G capable phone?
Oh, man. As we all know, it's the newest technology, right? It's bound to happen. In Bahamas, it's going to happen all over the world, just like 4G did. But you can do everything as way faster than you think right now. And uploading, downloading, browsing, video streaming, anything that you can imagine, everything is faster with 5G. It is the way that technology is pushing us towards to, and we can do unimaginable things. If you have seen videos of what you can do with 5G on soccer stadiums, on concerts, with video and video streaming and illustrations, and AI with the 3D images and all of that, it's unreal. I believe as technology advances, 5G will become way more handy to all the world when all the world is ready. But yeah, that is it's the best technology out there, and we will all gonna have to get used to basically 5G.
Yeah. All right, in your final few seconds with us, remind everybody what's going to be happening on April 9th here in the Bahamas.
Yes, so on April 9th, we're launching the S21 lineup, and we're going to have a super offer that you can get a Buds Pro and a Smart Tag, as I explained. And please do, it's the best bundle you're going to get in the market right now. You're going to enjoy this product. It's the best technology out there. We truly believe and stand by that. If you have read the reviews out there already, it's a truly amazing phone. So we really hope you guys like it as much as we do and love it as much as we do. This is our newest baby, right, from Samsung.
All right, it's a beautiful phone. Very exciting news. I can't wait for this. Thank you very much, Gianmarco Leary with Samsung Electronics. Gianmarco Leary.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You have a wonderful day.
Appreciate it. All right. We're going to take a break and then be back with Morning Blend Business. We're talking about the BISIX, the performance of the BISIX, how it's been doing, and why it's so off as we are now in the 4th month of 2021. We're going to get into that. Stay with us.
You got this still. It started on the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. 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 Wake up, wake up.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
This is the Guardian News Network update on the hour. Hello, everyone. I'm Charlene Ferguson. Calling It's the People's Time the biggest broken promise in Bahamian history, PLP leader Philip Davis is urging Bahamians not to fall for the Prime Minister's many new promises, considering he said he has yet to fulfill those made during his last election campaign. Davis called out Minis on his failure to ensure transparency, provide a fixed as he accused the Minis administration of adding to the misery of struggling Bahamians during the pandemic. Davis argued the country cannot take another 5 years of a Minis administration. In other news, Defense Force Commander Commodore Raymond King is now being quarantined at home after being exposed to COVID-19. The force's medical officer, Dr. Derwin Johnson, says King underwent a rapid antigen test on Saturday after experiencing mild respiratory symptoms. He is currently awaiting an RT-PCR test to confirm his COVID status. King did receive the first AstraZeneca COVID-19 shot last month. And police intend to charge 2 men before the courts today in connection with that $3.1 million drug find at an airstrip on Eleuthera last week. Police had been searching for 2 men who were questioned and released by officers after arriving on the island during a joint operation with U.S. drug enforcement officers. Police say those men had been released before the 6 duffel bags of suspected cocaine were found near the strip. That's what's making headlines at this hour. Stay with us. AP Update is next.
Boy, why you look so mashed up like clothes at the washer?
No, boy, just a hard day. What?
Hard day? What happened? The breakfast lady ran out of tuna and gritty.
We need to start joking about everything, you know. This serious, boy. This real serious, boy.
Boy, what's serious? Tell me.
All right, well, today, boss gave us boy one big contract. And nobody else get a chance and nobody say nothing.
Boy, you know that ain't right. You know government contracts ain't supposed to go that way.
Yeah, but nobody's saying nothing. Boss man just tell people to sign the papers. Then he send me to meet his boy downtown and collect this envelope.
You need to tell somebody. You need to become a whistleblower.
You know I's a real man, but I never blow no whistle. I be drunk all my life and junk, you know.
No, boy. A whistleblower is someone who tells people what they see when they see something wrong happening at work.
But I ain't no whistleblower, and I ain't no snitch. I still white, you know.
But ain't nobody can know it's you. All you gotta do is call Crime Stoppers, or you could text them from inside the Crack Crime Bahamas app. They don't ask about you. And your call goes straight through to you text. Your message get mixed up like Kong Salad.
Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands.
Meet Jackie. Jackie's a hard worker with a steady income, but she has a personal loan and multiple credit cards to pay off. To keep her account current, Jackie opted for a loan from Fidelity Bank to consolidate her debt into one monthly payment and earn interest on a built-in savings account. Be like Jackie. Call 356-7764 to book a complimentary financial coaching session. Fidelity also offers virtual assistance. Fidelity, we're good for you.
This traffic report brought to you by Shield Insurance.
Get a final look at traffic now. The active morning commute across the island, where we don't have our traditional lengthy traffic lines. Out of the southwest, apart from the three gateways, getting out Glasson Road, Samalabala Highway, and Carmichael Road, not performing up to the north. Yes, we do have traffic delays getting out of Glasson Road, but not as lengthy. That's clearing up pretty quickly over there. There was help in the roundabout at Samalabala earlier that totally got the traffic moving out of there. You probably missed it if you're still in line there because a slight lineup developed after. But initially help was there, and everyone got out, and only a remnant of the traffic still got hung up over there. Carmichael Road was an easy ride out to Blue Hill Road all morning. No line formed there, and getting out over the hill at Blue Hill wasn't bad at all. Still, it's not difficult, and the wait time is minimal. Independence Drive traffic did not bungle getting out on the west end to Blue Hill Road. It was a little bit slower on the east end getting out onto East Street. Then the ride north up Robinson Road along Blue Hill Road. Those dual highway lanes heading into the city, quite active. Wolf Road just building. There's no traffic jams out there as yet, though. And West Bay Street ride, it has been an active one. Can't say that you had congestions, though. Just maybe slow down due to the amount of traffic out there. And on the east, we're talking about Prince Charles Drive, Burnett Road, and the Eastern Road. They're all active, but no hang-ups and no delays going on either. This National Traffic Report is a service of Jess Johnson, the only insurance agents and brokers, giving you peace of mind in the Bahamas for over 100 years. You can check out Jess on our app. There you're able to view your policy details, check outstanding balances, report a claim, and more. Sign up today at JessJohnsonOnline.com. With your Rider Sky look at traffic in real time, happy ANN.
I'm Rita Foley with an AP News Minute. Every adult in this country will be eligible to get a COVID shot by April 19th. President Biden will make that promise today, the same day he visits a COVID vaccination site in Virginia. Many states are already making all adults available to get a vaccine, says our Julie Walker.
Over 30 states have already expanded vaccine eligibility to include anyone over 16, according to the Kaiser Family Foundation's analysis of state websites. Teens aged 16 and 17 will be limited to receiving the Pfizer vaccine, since that's the only one authorized for those under 18. As of yet, there are no vaccines approved for kids under 16. I'm Julie Walker.
Derek Chauvin's murder trial is resuming this morning in Minneapolis after the police chief testified that Chauvin had violated department policy in pinning George Floyd to the ground. The defense blames George Floyd's death on drugs and his underlying health conditions. I'm Rita Foley.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Tuesday, April 6th, 2021. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Don Sargent is still with us this morning. And today we're going to be talking about the BISX, the Bahamas Interchange, and we're going to be talking about the performance of the BISX so far this year. The numbers are down. What does that mean? Is that something investors need to be worried about? Do these companies that are listed need to be concerned about that as well? We're going to be talking with Angela Butler with CFAL about that this morning in just a bit. But first, it's time for your morning business report brought to you by CFAL. In your morning business report, although official numbers are not out, March was the busiest month for visitor arrivals since the start of the COVID-19 travel restrictions, with early indications showing that approximately 60,000 tourists visited the country based on the number of health visas sold. Minister of Tourism and Aviation Denise de Aguilar confirming yesterday that the number of visas required to enter the country has nearly doubled since the peak in December. Diaglo says the upcoming second week in April could be equally as busy as the residual effects of Easter and spring break travel. That period lingers on. Vice President of Marketing and Commercial Development for NAD, Nassau Airport Development Company, Jan Knoll, saying initial indications from travel through Lyndon Pinley International Airport last month showed the largest uptick in foot traffic. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has made some updates to its framework for conditional sailing order after 5 months of cruise lines working to comply with the original orders released in October 2020, which were designed to allow sailing from U.S. ports once again. The Caribbean and the Bahamas, where some islands depend heavily on cruise passenger spend, have also languished, awaiting some solid timeline from the CDC that would indicate when it will allow cruise travel once again. However, the latest update released April 2nd reveals nothing about when cruise travel could begin. Instead, the CDC's addition to its conditional sail order seeks to ensure ports and health authorities where those ports are located within the United States are on the same page and opens the door for simulated voyages to begin. After a dip in volumes over the course of the COVID-19 pandemic lockdown measures and travel restrictions, Consolidated Water has seen an uptick in increase in the past few months since hotels have reopened. That's according to Chief Executive Officer Rick McTaggart. He says the increase will have little impact on revenues, though. The water company, which produces bulk water and supplies the Water and Sewage Corporation, revealing last week that its bulk segment revenue decreased due to $1.5 million decline in revenue from the Bahamas operation, due mainly to lower energy prices, which receded Bahamas rates, and a decrease in the manufacturing segment revenue due to a decrease in orders in the fourth quarter of 2020. And the government will have to choose between whether it wants to approve a third mobile operator or invest in 5G technology. That's according to Alive in its recent response to IRCA's draft annual plan. IRCA published its draft annual plan in December, in which it renewed its intention to conduct a market review of mobile services and provide the government with recommendations on whether the further liberalization of the mobile telephone market should be undertaken in the form of a third mobile provider. In its official comments on the plan, Be Alive Limited noted that the uncertainty over whether there would be a third mobile operator would have a chilling effect on the investment plans of the existing operators, and in particular will delay any investment in 5G. As a result, Alive stated that IRCA needs to complete its review with the utmost urgency so that the government can make its decision on the matter by the end of September 2021. Read more of these stories in today's Guardian Business section. Overseas from the U.S., several weeks have passed since Texas ended its COVID-19 mask mandate, but if you want to pick up a snack at some stores, you'll be turned away if you aren't wearing face covering. 18 states currently have no mask requirements, including some that have never made face coverings mandatory. Texas Governor Greg Abbott lifted his state's mask mandate on March 2nd, and Indiana expects to end its mandate on Tuesday. Many business owners are keeping their rules in place, requiring staffers and customers alike to wear masks for the sake of protecting everybody, particularly their employees. And the law is on an owner's side. Companies' premises are private property, so owners can insist that customers wear masks, just as restaurants can require that diners wear shoes and shirts in order to be served. Closer to home in your Market Watch, recapping trading on the BISX from Thursday before the holiday. AML Foods Limited moving 3,000 shares, closing up 5 cents to $5. Commonwealth Bank moving 12,000, down 4 cents to $2.95. Commonwealth Brewery moving 1,000, up 5 cents to $4.45. Consolidated Water moving 617, down 4 cents to $2.65. And Emira Incorporated up 6 cents to $11.19. The BISX All Share Index closing at 1,959.44, down 4.34. Recapping the week, the local market ended the week with 80,792 shares crossing the exchange, with 20 trades to accumulate a value of $351,749. The BISX All Share Index gained 11.44 points, or 0.59%. Year to date, the index is down 133.01 points, or 6.36%. The week's volume and value leader, Focall, moving 44,000 shares in 3 trades with a value of $160,120. That's your Market Watch, and that is your morning business report brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. It's time for a break, but when we come back, we're getting into our discussion about BISX and its performance right here on Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9.
You invest in your children, your home, and your community. But are you investing in your financial future? At CFAL, we specialize in investment management, retirement planning, mutual funds, and private wealth management. Our team of experts never stops helping you plan for tomorrow. Because tomorrow begins today. Call us at 502-7010 to see what our financial advisors can do for you. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
Wait, you know what going down tomorrow?
Nobody, what happening?
Joe bringing these knives to school. He could do Junior in.
For what?
Wait, he fooled with Joe girl.
Mother sick. And you know Junior don't back down for nothing. So that means you got a big fight tomorrow.
So whose side you want?
Side? I trying to stay in school, not Simpson Pen. We gotta tell somebody about this fight.
Tell somebody? I ain't no snitch. I mean cool, you know.
Wait, if you so cool, then you need to stay in school and stay out of the fight.
Yeah, but if I don't hang on Joe's side, how many boys coming for me next?
All right, so we definitely gotta tell somebody. We gotta prevent the fight.
What I say, I don't want nobody call me snitch.
We could just call Crime Stoppers. You could report what you know, and nobody gotta know it's you.
So how did I wait?
All you gotta do is call them, or you text them through the Croc Crime Bahamas app, and nobody can know it's you.
Then the police come looking for me for more info, and when they finish with them, Joe them coming looking for me?
When you call Crime Stoppers, the call go directly to Miami, and they don't ask nothing about you. Then you can get the pen from them, and you can claim a reward later using that same pen. Plus, everything's scrambled, so nobody can read what you're saying.
Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands.
For the past 33 years, we're poor and hurting, feeding the hungry and sheltering the homeless. We invite you to support our Live to Give program and make a difference in these challenging times. Become a donor by giving a one-time annual gift or a monthly donation of $50 or $100. Call Great Commission Ministries at 325-5801 for more details, or visit our headquarters at 237 Wolf Road. Join Live to Give today. This public service announcement is proudly sponsored by this radio station.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
I don't think that's funny, no. I told my girl I lost my job. She said, baby.
Welcome back to Morning Blend Business. Dwight Strachan along with Don Sargent. And this morning we are talking about the BISX, the performance of the exchange, and what it means with what we're seeing so far with the index down about 133 points as of last week. And we're going to talk about all of this with Angelo Butler. He's a senior financial analyst with CFAL. And Angelo's in the studio with us. Good morning, sir. Great to have you with us.
And thank you for having me.
All right. So as we said, 133 points we've lost since the start of the year, down about 6% or more. What does that mean exactly, and should people be concerned about that?
Okay, so before we begin, I think it would be good to explain a bit to your audience how you see a big number at the end, BISX, how many points it moves, but what's behind that. So BISX is a market capitalization weighted index, and I'll break that down as well.
Yeah, you're gonna need to.
So how that works is the market capitalization of a company is the number of shares that it has outstanding multiplied by the price at a specific date. Okay. All right. So let's say, Dwight Strachan and Co. has 10 shares outstanding and those are $1. And Angelo Butler has 10 shares outstanding and those are 50 cents. Then the market capitalization of your company is 10. The 10 shares times the $1. And the market capitalization of my company would be $5. The 10 shares multiplied by the 50 cents. And so what ends up happening is you add the 10 and the 5 and you have 15, right? So what you see at the end of the day is that 15, the BISX number where the points change from is the total market capitalization. Now how that affects the movement is because yours is 10 and mine is 5, you would have twice an impact on the index as I do.
Right.
So the bigger the company, the more impact it has on the overall exchange. And so if you get the numbers from BISX, you would see that there are companies such as CIBC, Commonwealth Bank that have a weight of 25% or more of the total BISX index. And so those companies are really what move or change the price more than, say, some of the smaller companies. All right. And so you see BISX down 6.23% or so, but if you go and dive deeper in, you would see that there are some companies that are up 40% this year, whereas some are down 20, 25%. And so it all depends on how big a company is, and that drives the underlying movement of the exchange.
All right. So that necessarily doesn't mean that there's a problem.
No, you at the end of the day, you have to go and look at the individual companies. But the headline is driven by those companies that are bigger. So the bigger the company, if one of those big companies has a bad year, the index would do worse than if that was just a smaller company doing poorly. And so you cannot just look at the overall. You have to eventually go and dive down into the individual companies and see how is this company performing relative to the others.
And I guess as a financial analyst, you've done that.
Yes, that's what we do. I look more so individual at each company and come up with a recommendation. So I would never say sell the entire BISX. It's this company may be doing well. Let's get out of this one, get into this one, and so forth.
All right. So what does that mean to you then? 133 points, because people are looking at it and listening to how the media reports on the Dow in the U.S. and the S&P when they say it closed down, and then people are like, oh boy, all right, so you've got whether it's a bull or a bear market, but that's not necessarily what's going on here.
No. So I mean, even in the U.S., you still have to look deep down within. If you looked over the past 2-3 weeks, technology stocks were doing really bad. But like you said, they keep reporting that the Dow Jones is at a new record high.
Right.
Because the Dow Jones does not have a lot of technology companies in it. So the headlines are there to garner attention, but you always have to go and dive deeper down in. And so to me, the 133 points on BISX, it does not say a lot to me. I just know that the bigger companies, the CIBC, the Commonwealth Bank, and based on what you see they've done so far, they've been negative for the year. And I think that's what really influences that number.
Right. Okay. All right. So let's look at it then. Let's get deeper into it and what all of this means for potential investors as well and the companies. All right. So you're saying that some of the bigger ones are the ones we need to look at. And so what do you think is happening there?
So you do have some weakness. So every 3 months, all of the companies on BISEX have to release their quarterly financial statements. Right. And persons generally look at those and they want to see, is revenue growing, is profit growing, and if it isn't, then you begin to see a bit more sell orders on the index, where if a company isn't doing good, people are saying, okay, I want to get out of this company. And so that's pretty much what drives a lot of it. You also have concerns if, BISEX is very heavily driven by dividends. Mm-hmm. It's a big focus for Bahamian investors. And so if a company announces that they're not going to be paying their dividend any longer, you begin to see those shares start to fall. So those two things primarily are what people look for and make decisions on whether they're going to sell or not. And of course, the banks have some, issues with loans and deferrals and things of that nature. So it's probably persons just trying to get ahead of that trend.
All right. So with are there any companies that you have your eye on that you're like, okay, well, something's happening here. We need to see what's happening. What's the deal?
I would not want to put any company on the spotlight, of course. But you just look at the overall economy and you understand some of what's going on. I think we've seen where the banks have had to defer a lot of their loans. So you can expect for some issues and some challenges to be in this environment. You see the doctors, hospital, of course. In a pandemic, you expect healthcare to do relatively well. The food stores are also expected to do a bit better. And so, like I said, you can't just generally look. You really have to dive down individually and see what's going on with the company to come up with some sort of assessment.
But definitely COVID impacts, whether it's good or bad. We are definitely seeing that.
Yes, I think it's you see it playing out in the numbers. And, the market has not been as volatile as, per se, the U.S. Right. When COVID first hit, within 2-3 weeks, the U.S. averages were down 35%. And unlike BISEX, when those averages are down 35%, you have, maybe 80 to 90% of the stocks themselves down 35%. Whereas BISEX just, slowly fell, and some companies have done worse than others. So it's not as volatile in terms of how quickly you see the impact of COVID priced into the shares.
Yeah. All right. So you talked about it, people selling off a stock and the impact that has. Tell us more about that. What happens there and how that impacts the price.
So, if people see things stock prices are really driven by supply and demand. The more people trying to buy shares, the higher the price is likely to go, and the more people trying to sell, the lower the price is going. So if I know you're going to need to sell this company and I see you're trying to sell it for 10, I may come in and say, hey, I'll buy it, but maybe at $9.20. And if you really want to sell, you either meet me down there or you wait until someone else comes who wants to buy it at 10. And so it's like almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy where because people expect to put in their prices low, and if you really need the money, eventually you're going to just bite the bullet and say, you know what, I'll sell it for $9.20. And so it's just a cycle where the more people try to sell, generally you see the lower the price goes to attract buyers.
Yeah. Wow. All right. So what does all of this mean for the people who are holding on to the stocks and potential investors seeing what's happening now? Though you're saying it's not as bad as some of the numbers might suggest, but what does it mean for the investors?
So, for some people, they're looking to reduce their exposure to some sectors, and they may be looking to get into others. Of course, one man's trash is another man's treasure. So while some people are looking to get out of some of these, you have, younger persons who may just be starting out. They want to get their feet wet, get into the market. This is a time where they could say, I can find a discount on some of these shares if people are trying to get out. And, as I hold these for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, over that period, I will, I'll realize that I got those at a discount. And so that's just the general thesis. You try to have a diversified portfolio. You don't want to have all of your money in any one security. So as long as you're well balanced, some people are just going to ride it out, and in 5-6 years, they'll be, better off than they are today.
Yeah. So you need a lot of patience in this market.
Yes, not just this market, but I think on the whole, investing, I think, is a process. Many times we just want to put money today, and in a week we're rich. Right. But it's continuously investing over time, over a long period of time, and that's where I think you really build wealth and increase your net worth.
So back to the numbers. If this continues, what will that mean? If we see in 3 more months that it's gone down even further, what will that say about those companies that you're keeping your eye on? And is that necessarily at that point that there needs to be some panic?
Not really panic. Once you begin to buy stocks or equities as they're known, you have to expect good and bad times. So, if you're down 10% and it goes down another 10%, it isn't the end of the world, as long as that's not all of your investments in any one basket. So I don't know if it's necessarily a negative. I mean, no one wants to lose money, but like I said, for some people it would be an opportunity. If you really believe this company is going to do well, and you're down a bit, you may want to buy a bit more, so that as it recovers, you get benefits to a greater recovery. And so I don't know if it continues. Obviously it's negative, but it does not. I don't know that it causes any change in behavior or anything of that nature.
Historically, have we seen a year start off like this before? I think a couple of years before the pandemic, they were on a rise. Is that right? But have we seen this before?
Yeah, I think you saw something similar in 2008 when the economy did bad. You saw stocks begin to decline, and some people, they have emergency situations where they need cash, and so they just come in. They need to sell. So generally, during periods of bad times, you see the overall index fall. But like I say, you still have to look at the underlying. In every crisis, there's companies that do well. Some cap while others suffer. But since 2008, you've seen a lot of those companies recover, and so persons who just held, they're better off today than they were back then. Right. But of course, during that time, it feels like the end of the world, and it feels like everything's just falling in on you.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about some of the companies and trends and why we don't have more companies listing on the stock exchange, and some other things people need to keep in mind if they are investing. This is Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
Get money, hey, get money. Everyone wants money. Everyone needs money.
You invest in your children, your home, and your community. But are you investing in your financial future? At CFAL, we specialize in investment management, retirement planning, mutual funds, and private wealth management. Our team of experts never stops helping you plan for tomorrow. Because tomorrow begins today. Call us at 502-7010 to see what our financial advisors can do for you. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
Wait, you know what's going down tomorrow?
Nobody, what happening?
Joe bringing these knives to school. He could do Junior in.
For what?
But he fooled with Joe girl.
Mother sick. And Junior don't back down for nothing. So that means you got a big fight tomorrow.
So whose side you want?
Side? I trying to stay in school, not Simpson Pen. We gotta tell somebody about this fight.
Tell somebody? I ain't no snitch. I mean cool, you know.
Wait, if you so cool, then you need to stay in school and stay out of the fight.
Yeah, but if I don't hang on Joe's side, him and these boys coming for me next.
All right, so we definitely gotta tell somebody. We gotta prevent the fight.
What I say, I don't want nobody call me snitch.
We could just call Crime Stoppers. You could report what you know, and nobody gotta know it's you.
So how did I wait?
All you gotta do is call them, or you text them through the Croc Crime Bahamas app, and nobody can know it's you.
Then the police come looking for me for more info, and when they finish with them, Joe them coming looking for me?
When you call Crime Stoppers, the call go directly to Miami, pen from them, and they can claim a reward later using that same pen.
Plus, everything's scrambled, so nobody can read what you're saying.
Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands.
For the past 33 years, Great Commission Ministries has been defending the poor and hurting, feeding the hungry, and sheltering the homeless. We invite you to support our Live to Give program and make a difference in these challenging times. Become a donor by giving a one-time annual gift or a monthly donation of $50 or $100. Call Great Commission Ministries at 325-5801 for more details. Or visit our headquarters at 237 Wolf Road. Join Live to Give today. This public service announcement is proudly sponsored by this radio station.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
And it's time for your final look at weather for this morning, brought to you. Here's what's happening. We've got high pressure just north of the area that's going to continue to produce mostly dry and stable conditions across the country. Beachgoers in the central and southeast Bahamas should exercise caution due to the risk of rip currents at north and east coast beaches. For all areas today, look for partly to mostly sunny and warm conditions. It's going to be a bit breezy as well, with a chance of isolated showers, mainly in the central and southeastern Bahamas today. Mostly fair and mild tonight. A small craft caution remains in effect for the central and southeast Bahamas. Look for highs getting up to around 81 Fahrenheit, 27 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to a cool 61 Fahrenheit, 16 Celsius. In your extended outlook, high pressure will persist across the area into the weekend. So for tomorrow, Wednesday, look for mostly sunny and warm conditions. Thursday, mostly sunny and warm again, but a bit breezy in the southeast Bahamas. That's your morning blend weather check, brought to you by Cash and Go.
No things rough on this road, baby.
For real, daddy.
The blown cord and everything, Marsha.
Real like it.
Can't even get a job. But don't worry about that, though. You get one platinum hustle, daddy. Watch this ride. You're getting money on the grind. That money on the grind. But you can make a hustle without keys or the pounds. The money on the ground. The money on the ground.
We are back here at Morning Blend Business, talking with Angelo Butler with CFAL. He's a senior financial analyst, talking about the BISX, the performance of the stock exchange here in the country. And all right, so talking about what's accounting for the decrease that we've seen so far this year. The BISX down just over 133 points up to this point. All right, so let's talk about individual stocks. I know you don't want to get too much into the companies, but what people need to be looking out for, what they need to be thinking about, if they are in the market to invest, to purchase shares at this time, and then we can talk about why we're not seeing more companies at this point on the stock exchange. But if you are in the market, you're saying this might be a good time.
So, in businesses, they always say that cash is king. So in many cases, you want to just look at, how is a business generating cash flow, and because when you invest in a security or a stock, you want to get dividends as well as you want for the price to increase. Mm-hmm. And so the primary way that happens is by the business generating cash to, provide returns to its shareholders. And once persons see that businesses are generating sufficient cash, they will be attracted to those sorts of businesses. And so right now we all expect that, companies would take a hit during this pandemic. We expect revenues to be down. net income to be down in many cases. But you still want to just look at trends, and now that we're hopefully ahead of the worst of the pandemic, you just want to look at trends and make sure that you start to see revenue growth coming back, cash flows improving, because that's what's going to allow the companies to pay you dividends and to attract other investors. Like I said, once you see a company suspends its dividend, you immediately see that stock price fall, and so its dividend, you begin to see the price go up. So you really want to watch that cash flow, because that at the end of the day is going to really drive the returns for you as an investor. And like I said, it's going to be a bit down now, but you need to get ahead of that inflection point where it begins to grow again. Because once persons see that, they're going to begin to buy again, and you may miss the what could be considered a discount right now.
Right. So you have the same concerns when the dividend is lower than it had been previously?
Yes. Well, once it's you're
still getting dividends.
But still, what people like is companies that grow dividends over a long period of time. So any sort of cut or decrease sends a bad signal to investors, even though in many cases you can see, okay, this business should do this to maintain its viability, but that doesn't mean that the price is not going to go down. So although it's a responsible decision in some cases by companies, generally you don't want any sort of reduction in dividends. So and as a company, what they try to do is grow the dividend at a rate where they know they can sustain it. So you don't want to double the dividend in a year. It's better you do 7-8% increases with something you can sustain over 10, 20 years, because once you cut that and start over, it's really negative.
So if a company is not growing the dividends, but you are getting it, should you be concerned about that?
Ideally, you want it to grow. What I've seen with BISX is if it's sustained, persons are generally, you may see the price go up 5 to 6% a year. It may not be one of the fastest growers, but persons will be okay. Cut it and reduce it.
Yeah. Wow. All right. So people asking about this one here. They call it a company name. What are your views on Cable Bahamas and their ability to start paying dividends again?
So they recently sold the U.S. operations, which provided them with a good chunk of cash. In my opinion, it would not be prudent right now to pay a dividend for them. I think they need to continue to pay down some of their debt, get themselves in a bit better financial position. And then, like I said, you don't want to introduce a dividend that you cannot sustain. So make sure you're in a position where you can pay this dividend and not have to come back in a year or two to cut it again.
There's a lot of change going on in that industry as well.
Yeah, it's
people's viewing habits and
have changed, competition.
Yeah.
It's really intense. So I think it would be prudent to, of course the shareholders would not like it, but you don't want a short-term fix and then you're right back at square one in a few years.
Yeah. Are there any companies that ends in years on the BISX?
Yes, there are several companies that don't pay dividends. Bank of the Bahamas has not paid in a while. Commonwealth Brewery has suspended its dividend a few years back. Most of the others, I think, pay. So just those two that would have been paying, but would have suspended for reasons, of course.
And what does that mean? And what should people take away from that?
So if you followed those companies, you would have seen some of the issues they had. We all know Bank of the Bahamas, the government had to step in and provide additional capital and support. So, it would be a bit not prudent.
Yeah, it wouldn't look good
for them to now go and pay a dividend. Although, the government is the majority shareholder. At the end of the day, you want to make sure the bank is sustainable before you get to that. And then, of course, Commonwealth Brewery, they would have suspended their dividend a few years ago. And, I think it was a good decision as well. Like I said, you have to look at, the financials and the underlying information to see why. I don't want to put them on the spot.
Right. Now, there are some companies that their stock price is really, really low. What does that mean exactly? And I mean, like pennies, it seems. What does that mean, and why still be listed?
So like I said, and this is where market capitalization comes in. There's a company, let me think of an example. There's Boeing, for example, right? The airline company, it's share. And then if you look at Apple is about $130 per share. But Apple is worth almost $2 trillion and Boeing is worth a couple $100 billion. So you can't just look at the price of a security and say that it's low because that doesn't really matter. Of course, companies don't want the price too low to the point where it's a penny stock. But, if you have 1 million shares at $1 and a company has 5 shares at 200, the $1 company is worth more than the $200 company. So you can't just look at the price of it. And so, I don't think that's a good metric in itself to just look at and say, the prices. Some people look at it and say the shares are cheap.
Right.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that.
Okay.
You have to look at how much shares outstanding and come up with the market capitalization of the company.
Yeah, well, that's good to know. That is very good to know. All right. So why aren't we seeing more companies listed on the BISX? What's behind that?
So I guess I'll approach two sides of it. There are, large businesses that we're familiar with. When you go public, you lose all privacy, right? You have to report your numbers every 3 months. Everyone knows how much money you make.
Right.
How much taxes you pay. Everything is laid out.
Yep.
So a lot of business, they don't want that information out there. It's also, having to report those numbers every 3 months could be a bit taxing from a financial perspective. So you may need to bring in more accounting people. Right. Because I think you have 21 days after the quarter end to get those numbers out to the public. And you also have to, provide constant updates for person. Any changes you make that are material, you have to announce those to the public. So it's just a lot less privacy than persons who have existing businesses for decades would be used to. And then from the other side of it, you have a lot of small startup companies, but what we've found is, in my opinion, behemoths like familiarity. Company to go public would have been Arawak Port Development, and of course that was, everyone looked forward to that. It was, marketed well and things. Bahamas First, the insurance company, also listed on BISX recently. They did not do a traditional IPO, but they came to the index. So that's a case where a big company existing came to the index. But for the smaller ones, we've had, issues where persons don't have a lot of confidence in smaller companies. They want something more established, more that they're more familiar with too. Right. And so, you don't want to take a small company to go public and, you're not successful in raising enough funds, because it is very cost intensive to go public in terms of fees, submitting to the regulators and so forth.
Are shareholders here as vocal as they are in other parts of the world, where they will have these raucous meetings and demand to know why this isn't happening, why the company isn't going in this direction? Do we see that here?
I would say not as abroad. In the U.S., for example, you see hedge funds and these big prominent investors. Sometimes they go into a company and they call it an activist stake, and they come in and change the whole board of directors. So they really leverage influence. I don't see a lot of that over here. Persons do come to the meetings and ask questions, and the company generally responds to those questions. So it's a small knit, family oriented type.
More cordial here.
Yeah. That's what I found.
So, I mean, that's interesting what you said about the privacy, because people would love to invest in some of these or want to know all their business. So the big companies here that have been around for years, hundreds, some cases, many decades, but they are still private and doesn't look like they're interested at all. But we can now understand why. Right, everything would be out on the table there. Wow. All right, so we're getting some text messages here. Somebody's asking about the proposed crowdfund regulations. Do you think this is a good thing?
I do think it's good. I think you always want to have regulation before something becomes prominent. As a regulator, I don't think you want to be chasing behind the industry. I think it would be a good venture to get capital for some of the smaller companies. Like I said, it's if you try to go, it could be a bit. It's very costly, to be frank. So if that provides a cheaper alternative for smaller companies to raise smaller sums of capital, I think that would be a plus for the Bahamas.
All right, so explain to us the differences here with the preference shares and just the regular listed stocks and securities. What's the big difference there?
Okay, so with a common share, the company does not promise to pay you a dividend. With a preference share, there's a promise or, in essence, an obligation, right? So you put, let's say, $1,000 in a preference share. If it pays 6% per year, every 6 months, in most cases, they pay semi-annually. So every 6 months, a company will provide you with a dividend of $30, right? So whether the company makes money or not, they are more likely to pay that dividend. With a common share, if the company isn't doing well, you may not get a dividend. As well as the price of common shares fluctuates significantly more than preference shares. So preference shares are almost like a bond and a stock. So it's like a hybrid. You also have the aspect, if a company is going through liquidation and, all of the assets are sold, the bondholders get paid first, then the preference shareholders. Wow. And if anything is left, then the common shareholders will get paid. So common, of course, is always the riskiest, but if a company does well, the common shares do well.
Yeah.
So preference shares won't really go up or increase in value if a company does well.
Right.
It's the common shares where you really get that appreciation.
Yeah. So why would a company issue preference shares?
So the way you can structure them, you can make them cumulative. So if I'm a company and I know that in 6 months I may not have the cash to pay a dividend, what I can do is, in essence, put that dividend off and pay it in 12 months. And that would be okay if the preference share is cumulative. With a bond, once you start missing interest payments, it's a huge red flag and persons get concerned. So preference shares do give you a bit of flexibility there.
Yeah. Another text here. So he's asking, I've always watched Doctors Hospital stock. They seem to be stronger today than years past. They're much stronger than what I remember initially. Would it be a good buy or sell at this time? I don't know if that's what we wanted. But anyway, what do you say to that, if you don't want to answer that?
So I won't give a recommendation on the air, of course, but they have been improving of late. Like I said, when you go and look at the financials, right on BISEX or Doctors Hospital's website, you've seen that revenues have been increasing, net income has been increasing. They're also, they recently signed some agreement with a firm in Canada to expand, and they also issued some more shares. So it does seem like they're hitting their stride in a sense. Now the share price has gone up a lot, I think. In 2020, it went up about 56%.
My goodness.
And it's up another 1% or so this year. So it has been doing well of late. Like I said, you have to try find those inflection points where you want to get ahead of that 55%, because now it does seem a bit high, and now persons are like, okay, did I miss it? Is it the right time to get in? So, but I mean, you have to make that decision as an individual.
Right. I think this is what this person is asking here. Ask what's the difference between our stock market and the U.S. stock market, and about that, because it's not quite like what you see in the U.S. With people screaming and panicking on the floor of the stock exchange. Our system is a little different here. Is that right?
Yes. And of course, where the local stock exchange is relatively small. There are only 20 companies. The U.S. is probably the deepest capital or largest capital market in the world, right? Everyone goes to the U.S. to raise money. I always say, if you want to sell air, there's someone in the U.S. that'll give you funding to sell air.
Definitely.
So it's just so deep, and of course, there are reasons for that. The U.S. Federal Reserve is pumping a lot of money and liquidity into the economy, so money is just everywhere for those who need to raise it. So it's not a fair comparison. It's there are 5,000-6,000 companies listed in the U.S., whereas over here we only have 20. Our population is much smaller. We don't really allow international investors to hold stocks on BISX.
Right.
In the U.S., there's Japan, there's China, there's Australia. Everyone buys U.S. It's just night and day in a comparison.
Yeah. Do you think we'll ever get there? Do we want to get there? What do you think is the overall goal of the BISX?
The goal is to expand. I mean, I don't work there, but I assume the goal is to expand. It has been difficult, like I said, for reasons I've expressed. It would be great if we got as big as the U.S. The spin-off impact of that on the financial sector would be huge. But I don't know if that's, achievable per se on the scale that it is in the U.S.
Yeah. Well, with those large companies here that don't seem to want to go public, I mean, are there benefits that they're not looking at that they could realize if they did it?
Sure. So for one of the primary reasons a company can do it is for, succession. You may be a family and you want to get out of the business. You've managed it too long. You want to, in essence, cash out. You may want to keep a stake, a small stake, but not a majority. So you can, go public, and that would kind of relieve the family of that. You may also want to raise money to expand. Right. If you find that what the bank is doing isn't attractive, you may say, I want to raise $10 million, want to issue some stock. And, that helps you grow and become an even bigger company. So you own a smaller share of a larger pie in that sense. So those are just two of the reasons, but the impact of it is too great for some.
Right. They'd rather us just speculate on how much they make. Okay. This texter here, this is very interesting. Thank goodness for my preference shares. That's the main reason I'm still getting paid. Can they work for you in that well?
Yes, I generally you find that most companies over here with preference shares, they generally make their payments. Like I said, they cut the common equity first, dividends, and only in a real drastic scenario do they not pay their preference shares. So those have been a good investment in the Bahamas, I've found.
Yeah. All right. Now, I'm seeing two messages here to two different people, but I don't think this is exactly what happened there, based on what we saw in the media. They're asking about the stepping down of the CEO at Doctors Hospital. Now, from what was in our newspaper, it looked like he wants to move on, but it is not quite the way that's being characterized in his text message. But anyway, do those type things? So text you might want to pick up a copy of last week's Guardian Business section and see. Does that affect stock prices often?
I would say maybe in a more active market such as the U.S., if you see a company's CFO or CEO steps down and they're viewed as, people really look up to them, then you find that the share price does fall in the interim. Over here, I'm not sure. Of course, it puts something in investors' minds, but I don't know if it has any drastic effect on the share price per se.
Wow. And it may not be immediate.
Yeah.
All right. So this is exciting stuff. If people want to learn more, if they want to invest, how can people get more information from you and from CFAL?
So you can just contact us at info@cfal.com. Any questions you have, you can send it there. You can also call me, I guess, and I can go over anything with you.
Excellent stuff. Angela Butler, thank you so much for being here this morning. Time went by very quickly. But great. Hopefully we can have you on again soon.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Appreciate it. And that is it for us today here on Morning Blend Business. We're back tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, right after Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan, have a great day, everybody. On the Clock with Aaron Green coming up next.